Hello everyone and welcome back to Roll For It, where YouTubers and streamers get together to play some lovely tabletop RPGs. Today we are playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, Silence of Shadows. I was like, wait a minute, which order are all the S's in? There are too many Shadows of Silence. So we'll be playing our second season of our Vampire the Masquerade game. So first things first, we have some announcements, which I'm going to go pull up now. Right. Monthly recap is now out. So those of you who are supporting us on Patreon at the hero tier and above, you can go check the monthly recap out. Lots of behind-the-scene goodies coming from the Battle of Andorra soon. So there's going to be a whole load of, I think, like 7 enemies and some other jazz coming from the Battle of Andorra. It's still September for not long. So if you want to get cheap price subs, if you're subbing for the first time, you can. And multi-month sub deals, you can also do so at a discount. Furthermore, it's the last chance to grab the legend tier this month to be in next month's legend games. So if you want to be a legend, because people like to be notified, do that. Also, tomorrow in an earlier slot, we have a extra game which is sponsored by Nerdburger Craig, which is Death Becomes You, which is Good Strong Hands, the new Kickstarter for the new RPG by Craig. Craig's going to be GMing it. And it's going to be a dark, whimsical, dark fantasy grim thing where everyone's kind of fairy tale-esque characters. Tracy's smiling a lot because she's in it. But we also have Maggie, Josh, and Trooper. So it's going to be a whole load of fun. That'll be tomorrow at the earlier time of 2:30 p.m. BST, 6:30 a.m. PDT, followed by our normal show. So please bear that in mind. If you want to catch that, just heads up. So that's said and done. Right. That's all the announcements. So, if you want to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/roll for it. There's different tiers and different rewards, after shows, access to the Discord, all kinds of things. So bear that in mind. Also, if you want to go to twitch.tv/roll for it, you can get a whole load of subscriptions, which will also get you access to the Discord. But you also get access to the VODs before they come out on the YouTube, because it takes about a day to process them, so bear that in mind. Also, you can be a YouTube member if you want. You get access to the Discord. And you could also use tips and bits if you want as well. They go into the cup down there, and then things will happen. And they'll blow up and stuff. Loud typing noises are loud. Right. That's all the announcements and support, I believe. Oh, unless, yeah, you just want to tell people about the show, like spread the word, pin a note to someone's forehead to remind them of the show times. I don't know what you want to do. But, you know, blood bond them into watching the show. Just stuff like that. Right. Okay, that all said and done. Hi, welcome to Vampire the Masquerade. Vampire the Masquerade, by default, is a pretty dark and dank and dastardly setting with a lot of pretty terrible stuff going on, and we try to be as true to the source material as possible for that, and thus we are going to be touching on a lot of troubling things in a hopefully enjoyable way. So two things. Firstly, players are playing characters. Characters are vampires. Vampires in Vampire the Masquerade are terrible. They're not sparkly and lovely and nice. No, they're pretty terrible. So because of that, please bear that in mind, that we're going to be playing characters who would do bad things. If you were like, I hate that character, feel free. Don't be like, I hate that player. That's just being mean. People are playing a role. Don't take it out on the people, what the characters are doing. In fact, you should love them more for doing something that's terrible, because they're able to divorce themselves and do terrible things. Secondly, we're going to be touching on a lot of stuff that might be problematic or triggering for some people, because it is Vampire the Masquerade, and that's kind of the nature of the show. If that is the case for you, feel free to, like, step away, make a cup of tea, mute the stream for a bit, or even skip an episode. You do not need to sit through something if it's going to be problematic for you, and you can always catch up later. Or you could just pop into Discord and be like, hey, I had to skip the episode, give me the cliff notes. And then, hey, you have the cliff notes. So you can carry on. That's said and done. I believe we're all good. Handing it over to Mathis now for the very troubling continuation.
There's no troubling continuation. In fact, we're opening on a more positive note than we probably have in a very, 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 very long time. As the camera pans down from a night sky and we see a full moon coming through a clear sky rather, we find our 4 coterie members walking down the sidewalk in a rather quiet street, south of Ollie's bar, past the 55, deep into Brighton Park. They've been walking the past 30 minutes to an hour, exploring their newfound domain. It's only been a few nights since Prince Bella has gifted this to them for a job well done. And in reminiscing, it comes to mind that the past 6 months or more have been nothing but chaos, pain, loss, and hard work, all seemingly for naught. But finally, beyond the train station that you once had a decade ago, you stand in true territory belonging to yourself. Blocks of it, land that you can put law to and build as your own, where other kindred have to offer themselves to you should they cross those territory lines. Success has finally come to this coterie as they come to a stop in front of an old, decrepit movie theater. You've been looking for a haven to call your own now, a place to build up again, and a place for the four of you to come together that's safe and private. Ollie's bar has served its purpose, but it did more than it's intended to do. It was never meant to be a safe, secure haven, and that had been made clear multiple times over the years. But here, after walking for quite some time, you've looped back to this movie theater multiple times now. You keep coming back here. And the four of you stop here, taking it in, and conversation can begin. Is this where the four of you would like to stay?
Well, it's a fixer-upper, but I think it could be something that we could make our own with a few touches.
When I was a kid, I used to work in one of these.
Oh?
They changed lots since my day now, though. We've all got fancy digital cameras you just plug things into.
I was gonna say, is it one this old? I like it. It's vintage.
Maybe not quite this old. This one's actually older than me, probably.
I would hope so. I think it's lovely.
It's not bad. It looks like it's got some character. But renovation's not my bag, so probably gonna have to be up to you.
Leave that to me, darling. I'll handle it. Well,
What is Dakota
not with
doing?
my bare
She's
hands.
kind of standing out there as these three are
I
speaking.
walk over and kind of like I'm like looking at what's probably like an awning front. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and,
absolutely.
like,
It's
the
very
ticket-
old-timey.
old-timey, like multiple door entry. But it's still like slammed between two other buildings, no doubt, because it's Chicago.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
The
Yeah, like, it's
buildings on
like-
each side, too, are nondescript. There's no signs that indicate they're any particular store, but they don't look like apartment buildings either. You're not quite sure what they're used for.
I kind of look it up and down, and I go to the door, and I imagine it's boarded shut. And I just
Oh, yeah, it's boarded
break it
shut.
open.
You even, as you actually look over to the door, a lot of the doors are actually glass with those brass metal bars kind of push open. And a lot of the 2x4s that were there have already been graffitied over or busted down. And there's a small crawl space that Dakota could probably actually fit in if she wanted to push her way into the lobby. But even just peering in with your eyes and looking through, it looks completely looted entirely. It's like lots of just kind of graffiti on the walls. Sure, the counters are there. They haven't been ripped up or anything, but for the most part, it looks like it hasn't been touched in years.
I break the door open. There's like, it's ours now. We're going to have to redo it. So fuck you. I stand
Yeah,
I
so
just like
Dakota, in the
crack
middle of them
door
talking
open.
and whatnot, just walks over to it, like peers through the door, stands up, and we just see her kind of take an elbow back, and with a thrust into the door, it just kind of cracks and it creaks as it swings open, and some of the 2x4s come loose and fall off the door as it slams up against the back wall.
And I back in to the darkness and go, let's go check it out.
As she slips away into the inky darkness, leaving the three of you on the sidewalk to watch. And the three of you pour into the theater and begin to explore this place. Now, there's actually some pictures we can reference as kind of theater, the kind of theater we have here. But for those to kind of give it an explanation, I'm going to leave to Dot because you're more of a theater person than I am, so you'll know the more proper way to kind of describe what this place looks like.
Well, we said it seats about 150. It's a single house, so there's only one like screen. It would have an old projector booth. And then there's like probably a small lobby for like what would be concessions and like in internal ticketing and stuff. But I would imagine it would have to be 3 stories with some kind of like lower pit or basement to accommodate. Because we also said it has no mezzanine, so no balcony, but it does have box seats on the side. So it's like the only upper, yeah. And the rest of it is just raked tier seating, yeah. But I imagine this is all run down. The seats are all fucking torn out.
Yeah, but there's still remnants of that gorgeous gold paint on a lot of the trimmings and awnings and pillars.
I was gonna say,
the gorgeous, what's left of some ripped up, really what were once vibrant red curtains hanging on the walls and even in front of the screen. And at the very top where the projector was, there is a projector there, though utterly, completely destroyed and pulled apart over the course of years, rusted away and far from working. The smell of stale air and dust just permeates everything.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to clean this place up a bit, but it's got a very quaint feel to it. I like it.
This looks like an old Vicky. Looking at the projector. The platters still seem to work.
Yeah, I imagine Eva's like, oh, what? And Dakota's, what the hell are you saying?
It's a Victoria. Vicky, for sure. Same one that we had. Vicky 2. Platters still seem to work.
You mean the projector?
Yeah.
You're talking about the projector. Yeah.
Right.
Dakota's still like looking around. She's looking for security entrances. What do we have to board up and block out? Like this is like she's in like full. I'm like, okay, I could make this like very secure for us.
Yes, it's as Dakota goes through, and actually, why don't you give me a wits investigate check as you're really pouring through this place to kind of find the ins and outs. And as there's this conversation between Ava and Crowley and Dakota, Ollie, as you're stepping in, do we see Ollie doing? Is he more kind of looming in the background, just kind of taking it in? Does he not particularly want to go through it all as Dakota goes for security checks?
2.
It's sort of I don't know. I'd say it's probably sort of bittersweet, right? Like this is it's a long time coming, and everybody's we've been using the pub for I don't know, years.
Oh yeah, even during those 10 years between season 1 and season 2, where the 4 of you didn't really come together too often, whenever you did, it was always at the bar.
So this is probably a little bittersweet. He doesn't really know what to say or do, and he's just going to let them have the lay of the land, have the run of it. And I think Ollie's probably going to just watch for a little while.
And that's what we see Ollie do, standing in the doorway to the main theater as the others kind of scour about, and Crowley's messing with the projector, recognizing the make and model. And Dakota begins to disappear into the basement and the 3rd floor and exploring. And Dakota, it has become incredibly clear to you this place is very easily securable. There's not a lot of ins and outs, but there's enough where if you needed a second or tertiary exit, you could have one, but not enough where you need to worry about like 5 or 6 different ways into this building. You got the main door, you got the back door, you got the
yeah,
exactly, and you've got the basement exit if there's a basement at all. It's going to take some money and some time, maybe about a month or so, but you could build this place up with the right resources. Of course, you'd have to come together as a coterie and start pulling some cash in, but I was gonna say Tracy. Yes, the name wasn't coming to my mind. Ava knows plenty of people she could pull in to really redecorate this place. Ollie has a few contacts within the construction industry as the gentrification of his block is happening that he could pull in just for a workshop job up here under the table, off the books. You could get this place up and running pretty easily. And then after that, adding security and whatnot just requires time, patience, and again, a little bit of investment of some capital. So I'd say imagine that takes Dakota like 30 to 45 minutes of just kind of scouring this place. And after all said and done, everybody kind of comes together. Dakota is satisfied. This place could make a proper group haven, something you 4 haven't had in 12 years. All right. Everybody good? I didn't know if there was more conversation that wanted to be had, or
one
if
thing I
kind
should
of
probably
disperse.
check, just in case this place is really fucked up. Can I test how thin the veil is here?
I
Yeah,
was gonna say
absolutely.
maybe
I
a
don't want
quick
this to
sense
be
the
like-
unseen.
Like, oh, there was a horrific murder here like 2 days ago. That's why it's boarded up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
And yeah,
sweet.
I'll also with Ava be kicking on Sense the Unseen and just
Yeah.
we'll give this
Yep,
place
of
a
course.
thorough
We'll
going
just-
over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make sure it's not haunted. So
We've had that several times.
Been there,
already,
done that,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not do that again.
okay, your hunger will go up, Crowley.
I'll do two. Just
So, Ava, as you're looking around looking for Sense the Unseen, I'm not going to have to make you any roll because there's nothing attempting to hide from you. This place, as you walk around and explore it, seems to be clean. No ghosts linger in any corners, no dread kind of hangs in any rooms. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary, and no kindred are trying to hide themselves as far as you can tell here in the movie theater. Crowley,
I'll
is it a
have
success of 3, right? You need?
I'll have a +2 success for that because I took the background with the Giovanni thing. That we
Oh
talked
yeah,
about.
so you got it does put you at 4, which is more than what you need. For here, but for better or for worse, you can sigh a bit of a breath of relief. While Chicago in general is a little bit thinner than anywhere else you typically have been, here doesn't seem any thinner than the rest of the city.
Actually, seems like a normal place once.
yeah.
Probably
It's
the
refreshing.
happiness and joy from the cinema kept it not too bad.
Fast forward 6 months, Rowan's been living in the walls. He busts out and just stabs you all in your sleep.
knowing our story, yeah, that might happen. So.
It's actually the Tsumichi from season 1. He flesh crafted himself into a theater. He's been waiting this entire time.
Oh, that's awful and doable. I imagine too when the four of you come back together and you're like, yeah, everything seems fine, and Dakota's kind of confirms this is very secure. There's even that kind of awkward silence of like, oh, okay, now what? This has been a while since you've had success on your lap that didn't come with anything, that wasn't kind of doubled down as like a secondary punishment or these strings attached. You accomplished your job and you were given exactly what you were promised. Now, that's not the first time that's happened, of course. End of season 1 kind of holds that promise as well, but it's been a while since it's happened recently. And the unease of having territory all your own, the coterie who's only known by as the loud ones across the city, not really known to carry much respect as a group, even if the individuals have earned their own respect overall, now have 8 blocks to call their own. Quite the leap from where you started.
Ollie will probably try to break the silence. So, what's next?
Well, doors need replacing. Needs painting over. Skirting boards need redoing. Pipes running need redoing. Projector's fixable.
I mean, I can get some guys.
Yeah, we should probably gather our resources together and see who can handle what. Delegate out some tasks. I'm happy to clean the place up, interior decorating, clean out all the dust, clean the seats out, make sure everything's a bit more pristine. So if we wanted to have people here, we could really be proud of this place. Who wants to handle the security?
I thought I'd chat with our good friend, the detective. See if he didn't have any possible friendly cops that want to troll the streets.
I don't know if you want anyone that I might be able to get. I suspect that if we're gonna clean up the area, you probably don't want a lot of the homeless around.
I didn't plan on cleaning them out.
Nah, but there's not many here already. Like the closest we got is what? Needles? So none of those probably would have survived you much. Mathis, what does the area look like? Are there a lot of like homes? Is this?
It's a mix of commercial residential. It's a lot of like little mom and pop like convenience stores with above like 1 or 2 stories of apartments and whatnot that live above that, and through the just the normal streets, lots of brick buildings of stacked apartment buildings and a mix of in between. So you're kind of looking at that lower income style looking.
And we've
neighborhood.
walked them. What are some of the shops in the area? I know we tossed out a few ideas. Did
Yeah,
we
so that's
any?
entirely up to you, the coterie, what you would like some of the more important buildings to be here in this neighborhood. Now, of course, you have the little park where Needles is church. Technically, he's just outside of your domain. However, he's your closest neighbor in terms of kindred to deal with. But beyond that, the buildings that you'd like to have are your call. The size that we talked about, you get what, 1 or 2?
We get
important
one major location, which we talked about possibly being a train yard or
Yep,
either
that's
something
right.
of that nature, and then a series of whatever small businesses come.
So I mean, you're gonna have things like little convenience stores, little alcohol stops hereabouts, a little like indie comic shop that isn't like huge and has like massive collection, but it's like a 1-room kind of thing with some bookcases in the center that it's very specific and kind of a niche little store. Right attached to it, that's owned by the same person, is also like an old toy store. Like an old kind of collectibles toy store, you would consider it, not like an actual like Toys R Us or anything like that.
Saturday nights, they clear some of the space and they invite people in. They will play board games and like
And
Dungeons and
as
Dragons.
you kind of make your and as you were making your way around the entirety of the domain, you weren't entirely sure, Dakota, if this was going to be the case, but it ended up being the case that at the very edge, top left of the domain, right in the northwest corner, the library that you like to visit actually sits comfortably just within the borders of your domain.
Is that a city-funded library? Have we decided that, or is it private? Is it a private library?
It's a private library.
Okay, good. Okay,
It's a World of Darkness. They don't do a lot of public funding.
they don't do a lot of public funding. Could there be like a pawn shop possibly, or like an Army Navy surplus?
Oh, you could get like a really like just like independent owned pawn shop that has a smattering of
We
different
need a place
things.
to hawk stuff, you know.
You could absolutely a place you could go hawk stuff for sure. Yeah, for sure. If you're looking to hawk illegal stuff or like black market stuff, though, that's where you go through all these criminal contacts.
Yeah, for sure. But like, little things.
But if you're just looking surface level, like sell a pistol that you pulled off somebody or whatever, pawn shop, you can do that.
Maybe, yeah.
We should, of course, be careful as word spreads that this area is now ours. We have some lovely new enemies that may not love that we're very close to them. The Anarchs. I mean, I'm not terribly worried about them because they just seem to be a total mess right now. But we should still keep our eyes out.
It's true.
Just things to think about.
What's between us and them? Is there really anything between
Literally
us
nothing.
And...
Oh, God.
You're basically right on the line. You are straight up.
Neighbors. Hey, neighbors.
You taking over. Remember, so the
I brought some coffee
the political twist on the Camarilla side is taking out the Baron will turn that area that's kind of into like that's like a no man's land, a fought over area, strictly Camarilla. So you took them out, they claim it completely,
Yep.
and you're in there now. So you're kind of a stopgap as well in order to deal with that.
Okay, I think you're right. We should figure out how far that line goes, how far they're willing to come outside
Yes.
their area. We got to find the line.
Maybe we could reinforce it a bit and make sure there's a solid defense between us and them. Because they're unpredictable.
You said you had some guys.
Oh yeah, I can get someone to come out and help with the pipes and things. But like, what else were you thinking?
We need feet on the street.
I was going to say, if we could get some contacts to be around that area and make sure that none of those anarchs are coming into our territory, and if they do, we get word of it.
I could go say hello.
I could, Right, I could get some people out here. I know there are a couple that have been needing some change from my neck of the woods, which ain't too far, admittedly, but a few blocks can really do a difference when trying to work with some people. So, yeah, we'll see which of them want to come out. And if it's a good thing, then they'll stick around. There's probably something like... I think at the very least, Dakota would probably notice that Ollie has some apprehension about this. Like, it feels like it's a good thing, and everybody's sort of like leaning on the toe of what's next and how can we make this the best thing possible. But
Ollie seeming distant.
yeah, a little, I think.
Okay. Well, shit, I'm not doing anything. So I'll go walk the perimeter. For the shits and giggles. It's gonna take us a while to fix this place up. It doesn't mean I guess we can't sleep here now. But I'm not giving up the boat. I kind of pointed all of them.
Does Ollie want to go with Dakota?
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll step to. Hey, you want some company?
Sure.
As they kind of slip away, Ava, in the back of your mind, you remember the last conversation you had as you're left alone with Crowley. After the line we left you with, shall we, there was a little bit more conversation between you and Bella. And she let you know that Hakata have a unique gift. They can reach to the other side. And whether or not he returns, Crowley could at the very least allow you the opportunity to speak with him and perhaps bring you closure that you're looking for. But she left the choice in your hands. She did not make it seem like this was something you must accept or pressure in any way, but more as a gift for being loyal.
So I feel like as, Dakota and Ollie make their way out and it's left with me and Crowley, the air may be still a little awkward. Maybe Ava's like just kind of brushing things off and cleaning things around. And she spends a few minutes doing that, but eventually she'll walk over to Crowley.
Yeah.
Look, I know things the past few weeks have been a little tense, especially between us. I just wanted to say I'm sorry that I made things very weird and I've been a bit more cryptic than normal.
What do you want?
I have a question for you.
Go.
Very, very specific for you. I know you once told me that with your abilities, and I've seen it myself, you're able to talk to people after they're gone.
I mean, you see me be a ghost riding me?
Yes.
Talk to ghosts? Yeah, sure.
I know you don't love doing it.
There's always a cost. And I'm always mindful of that. People like the big bad Giovanni, people like the sandwich, they forget that cost. Why they're so detached and don't care. Power always is the price.
When you reach out, you have to see their soul, right? You need to find where they are and...
Their spirit needs to be nearby. Yeah.
What if I knew where the spirit of somebody was that I wanted to talk to?
Depends. Not all ghosts are willing to do it. You you can force them. And I wouldn't just do it for anyone. This is planning on getting out of town. And I do still care for you. Regardless of what happened already.
I was recently shown something.
Right. Okay.
By the prince.
Yeah?
She showed me my brother. Or at least his soul. I could...
No. Sounds like a good idea.
Really? You...
Well, you're on a dark road. Boy, brother sounds like an asshole. Maybe he's the only person who can talk some sense into you.
Ava, like, gets a really big grin on her face when you say this.
If it means so much to you, yeah. I still like that grin.
Thank you, Crowley. This means a lot to me. What if I told you there was a way that he could actually come back? His soul, at least. Come back to us.
Well, I've already got one ghost lodging at my place. I get crowded.
If that soul wanted to not be a ghost, could it inhabit somebody's body and become them?
Yeah, it can be done. There's always a steep cost on that one, though. Maybe just start small. See if he wants to come back. Have a conversation with him for a start.
No, that makes sense. I should not just assume anything, of course. The fact that there is a way, I haven't stopped thinking about it.
Yeah, well, the other side's a bit fucked up, so be careful.
With that acknowledgement, and Ava sheepishly turning her head down and nodding.
As she does that,
Yeah,
though,
well-
if I can...
Yep. What's up?
Look, I'll be gone for a bit. I have no idea how long. I don't know how far east of here. It's a very cryptic statement. Fucking east. Doesn't even necessarily mean my daughter's still in the US. And as much of a bullshit's gone on, I'm gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you too. You may not think it now, but you've helped me in more ways than one. Even though things are dark right now, it's hard to think of a kindred as a light, but you were. You are. But I know your daughter needs you.
Crowley, like, puts a hand out to Ava. Like,
She'll extend her hand and
pulls you a
she'll
little
like
close.
lean in. I was gonna say she'll extend it like, and then she'll just like
Yeah.
lean in for a hug.
And kisses you, like, probably just, like, on the cheek softly, and then just says, might be cliched, but things are always darkest for the dawn.
A lot of truth in those cliches.
Well, I like to look on the positive side. When I get back.
And as they kind of go for their embrace and the last words are exchanged, the camera will blur. And on the outskirts of the territory, we see Dakota and Ollie beginning to walk the perimeters.
How far out? So on the other side's a train yard. I'm gonna go. I'm looking to see people, if that makes sense. Looking to see other kindred.
Oh,
Like I'm walking to see. Like, at what point do I begin feeling like I'm actually in Anarch territory?
Oh, yeah, I can give you like the line. You would
cool.
know, right? It's this corner right here. Like, you are literally the border. So there's this corner here. It goes over to the back of the yards here, and then
which we've been
up
through.
to here. So it's like bang, bang, and then all the way like down here kind of thing until it reaches the yellow. You see what I'm saying? Like that weird triangle sliver.
Yep.
That's what's considered Camarilla territory, and you're basically the southern border here is where the Anarchs are closest.
All right. Then I'm just walking.
Yeah.
See if I see anybody. It's patrol. We're on patrol.
And Ollie, to you, it's like she doesn't realize how you've kind of been kind of cloistered and quiet, as there's the excitement just clearly is bubbling over for Dakota. The success, the finally having the success in her hands, a well-earned one, has taken her night and her focus.
I imagine if there's a train car, an open one, I'll kind of run over and plop
towards
a seat.
the east side. When you get towards the area back of the yards, you do start to see train yards, cars and yards. And if you climb to the top of one, you can actually see the flattened now area where your old haven used to be.
Oh fuck yeah! I pop up there and I kind of pat the top of this
train car. Yep.
Come on, look.
As Ollie climbs up, you two can see the flattened area that was once your old abandoned train station.
And I'll sit down.
Natal beginnings, huh? Look, it's where we all started.
It's not much left.
Yeah. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I mean, we really punched up, didn't we?
I guess so. We weren't really going to be able to punch down.
Yeah.
And, for whatever reason, a lot of us seem to be a group of survivors, so we do what we have to survive.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Hey, what do you think's next? I mean, like, I get that we got the, we got the theater and all that, but what's really next?
I don't know. I think Abe was right. The Anarchs are going to be a problem.
It's always going to be some kind of problem, you know? I've been thinking about it a while, and we're really like seating ourselves deep in Chicago. You always talked about it's kind of up and running, right? And shit gets hairy. But at this point, I don't know if we can leave Dakota. I don't know if that's even an option. Not that it's something that's been on my mind, but I don't know, I'm just thinking about later.
It's always an option.
Is it?
It's whether or not we can deal with the consequences.
I mean, now we're landowners, right? That's a thing.
I guess. But you've been a landowner.
I've been a land borrower.
Yeah.
I don't technically have a domain.
Yeah,
I got... Not really. None of that's gone through.
But you have a domain with us.
They just don't really feel like stomping grounds yet. They feel,
Well, of course not. We just got there.
I don't know, it just feels off, you know? And theater's nice, but like, what do I do about Chianta?
You do exactly what you were gonna do with Chianta.
Do you think I just keep the business?
I
Keep
say you
everything
do
going
what
as
you
normal?
fucking want to, Ollie. The reason we punch to the top is not to have to sit around and question punching to the top.
The reason I
chose to
punched to the top was because that I thought I was doing the right thing, and I was trying to take care of the people that needed to be taken care of. I took care of the thing with Grant, and I gotta pay some of that back still, but you know, I thought Ava needed help, and now she's a real monster, you know. I don't know. I guess I just sort of failed to see my my immediate place right now, and maybe it's just because it's kind of foggy. You ever feel that? You ever get that foggy?
for 10 years.
So is it cleared up then?
I don't know. I feel like something's working. But in all of that, Ollie, you didn't ever say what you wanted. I want to think it was you, in fact, that asked me what I wanted a long, long time ago.
Yeah, I never really gave a
told
shit
you.
about what I wanted.
Maybe it's time to start giving a shit.
Maybe, but
You can't tell me that you built that bar for us. And that's okay.
I think a part of me did, though.
And who says it's not still for us? If you think that I'm gonna spend all my time inside a movie theater, then you really don't know me.
No, I don't think you will. That's not your cup of tea, you know. You like the feeling of the grass. You like being outside, you know, on the streets.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see you being house cat, all cooped up. It's not really your cup of tea. It doesn't make sense either. But I don't know. I just things are weird. I feel like there's you guys well, I guess we see. You can tell I'm having a hard time with this. We're gonna be down here, but I'm supposed to be up there, and it's only like, you know, a couple of miles apart. But it just feels like there's a divisive line is being driven. You know what I mean?
No. Because right now, what we have is the opportunity to fill in that gap. What if we owned everything between the Lights Out pub and our current domain?
That's a big statement, and honestly, I don't know, because I haven't thought that far ahead.
Well, you asked what next. That could be an option.
What would you do, Dakota? You asked me what I wanted. And to be honest, I don't really know what I want. You know, a long time ago, I wanted Rowan out of this, and I failed there. He's deeper than ever, but
That's not your failure.
there's partly, at least partly. I'm learning to accept that much. But I want to know what would you do in my situation?
In your situation... Ollie, I can't even fathom your situation. You deal with finances and business shit and suits and ties and...
I mean, I look kind of good in suits.
This I'm not debating with you. I am just saying... I can't put myself in your shoes because I don't think I could have done what you've done. You did it for some reason. Just like the reason I've stayed with being a hound. It is partially because I want to be able to keep my coterie safe, but it's also partially because I'm really fucking good at it. And
Yeah,
when you
are.
say that something doesn't feel right, it's actually something kind of working. And that's what feels so fucking wrong, because we've been shit on our entire lives, Ollie.
So then this is what it feels like to win, because I didn't feel like this back in the day when I was in a ring. There was a bell, people would cheer, you would get excited. This is, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not thrilled about this.
So what?
right at the
So
moment.
what? You need a okay. Dakota stands up and goes, ding, 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 ding. The winner.
It echoes throughout. You can hear your voice just echoing through the empty train yards on nearby.
The loud ones.
You can hear the loud one, loud.
Oliver Hopkins. Dakota Rain. And I like go through each of our names as loud as I can shout it, like in this empty train yard. Do you feel better? I do.
I mean, it gives hope, and does. It's just, it's uncanny, is all. It doesn't. It's like putting on someone else's gloves. You know, they're worn out. They're good. It's been there before, but they don't quite fit your hands. I guess I'm just not used to the feel.
Me neither. I don't know. Not everything new can be bad, right?
No, we just have to embrace the new normal.
I don't know. I just feel like I have something for the first time in my whole fucking existence.
Yeah.
Is it good or bad? God, I don't know. Ollie.
I mean, it's kind of cool. It's yours.
It's mine. It's
Yeah.
mine. Just like Lights Out Pub is yours.
Yeah.
So fuck it. Maybe we don't know where we're going. But you know what? And I kind of stomp my boot on this train. That's not why I used to ride trains. The point is to not know where you're going, Ollie. You figure it out when you get there.
Yeah, I know. Journey, destination, I've heard it before. It's just weird. That's all.
Well, here's to being weird.
And the camera will slowly pan to the sky, and the moon will blur, and we'll see days pass. We're going to fast forward about a week, where the coterie comes together in the now slightly starting to be renovated haven. But tonight is the final night of Crowley in the city. He has been given full permission tonight by the local hound came by. If you want to know the actually, let me give you the name of the hound that came by.
Yep.
Dakota, the hound that came by and let him know that tonight was the night he would be allowed to leave without any blah 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 is that the right book? Where's my map? Uh-oh. Oh shit, it's in the other. Oh, it's I think it's Juan. Write down Juan. I'm pretty sure it's Juan.
Okay.
He came by and kind of just gave a quick like, hey Crowley, you give him the green light, you can go home today. Or you can leave Chicago today. And he kind of just leaves with that. He doesn't really, not a whole lot. You spent the week working on the projector, and today is the day where before the hound came by, you kind of gave it a test run, and you can hear it kick up, and you can hear the spooling of the yep, exactly, and you can see kind of just a blank white screen on the monitor as all
I get the
coterie.
prints I wanted.
You did get the prints you wanted. With that kind of money, yes, you got the prints you wanted.
Are we
We'll
all
say you
there?
get- Yeah, I'll say you all. This is all of you together. This is Crowley's last day. Beyond the last gift that he plans on giving Ava after, which is Ava's planning to leave with him. But yeah, the all four of you are together. Would you gather? I'm assuming you would gather in the movie theater. I was gonna say the bar for a beer or something, but I imagine the movie theater with the prints that you wanted. You want to gather there. And so you
yeah.
all gather together in the lobby. That's where you kind of come together. And Crowley's all got his jacket on. In the corner, you can see a bag that's been packed with a plant sitting on top of it.
I've got so many protein shakes in there as well.
You're really gonna do this?
Adora. Yeah.
Right.
care a lot about you guys, but you can protect yourselves. You know what you're into. She doesn't. I'll come back.
You better.
Yeah. Don't worry. And I got these when I get back. And I pull out, like, one huge canister of 35mm film, and I just gesture a box which has many other stacked 35mm films just on top of each other. I watched these in cinema when I was a kid. Original trilogy, Star Wars. Original cut.
I look at Ollie. That's that movie you were talking about.
One and the same. One and the same. You got the 35 mil?
Yeah.
Like that was probably not cheap.
Nazi gold goes a long way.
I was literally going to say, Nazi gold goes a long way.
Somewhere that's sacrilege saying that you bought an original Lucasfilm on print with Nazi gold, but I'm sure I don't frankly give a shit anymore.
Look, it's got to be good for something. You've been telling me I should use that money for a while. And I was thinking, hey, when I get back, why don't we just sit down one night and watch all of them?
Deal.
It's not a bad idea.
Also, these are worth a lot. So, Ollie, since you know how important they are, you're going to be in charge of them. That's okay.
All he has
Nothing
to
like
do,
responsibilities.
all Crowley has to do is survive an encounter with a Layla trained daughter hunter.
It's fine.
And we know how
my
Rowan's
God.
gone so far, so I have high hopes.
She's only been away like a few
no.
weeks. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you're just
No.
immediately will find her.
Well, you know, I've only ever actually seen a movie in theaters like a couple times, so it's kind of cool, Crowley.
That could be cool
And-
sometimes.
Well, I
Dakota-
haven't finished cleaning the theater room, but if we want to make an exception, I was hoping to have an opening night where we could all, watch it once it's fully redecorated and renovated, but we can make an
Oh, man.
exception.
I just have an idea for you. Ava, you may want to look into holding a once a month or once every couple of months Rocky Horror Night. You would clean up in this place.
I love that
Wait,
idea.
what is
Suddenly
Ollie
you have 5
Horror?
resources.
Yeah, Dakota's like, what is a Rocky Horror?
Oh, Dakota, you will have to come to the first one. That's all I can say. You need to
It's-
experience it.
Yeah, it's an experience to say.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
Okay, well, either way, thanks, Crowley. And Dakota gives you the hug that you have so deserved.
Oh,
I'm going
Please.
to rouse check so that I'm warm.
oh,
Do it up.
warm hug.
You get hungry.
I get hungry.
You
Worth
could
it.
suppress it for the session. if
I
you
will
want to
suppress it. You know what? I will
suppress
suppress it. I've also
it.
eaten.
Might as well use your last your lore sheet power there. And we watch as Dakota pulls in like a really tight
Just like-
embrace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tight hug. That's kind of like,
Hey, take care of them, okay?
what do you think I've been trying to do?
Yeah. You're a good egg.
Dakota
Dakota's
confused
like,
steps away.
I'm an egg. What?
Leaving you to turn to Ollie, the last goodbye before you leave with Ava.
Stay human.
Yeah.
Someone needs to keep them on the straight and level.
Well, I'm trying. They do a good job, though, occasionally, when they try.
Just keep them trying then.
Yeah. Piece of advice wherever you go. You should really not tell people that you knew there. For 6 months in a row. And also, for the sake of being repetitive, just drop the well, every 10 minutes. Might be a bit much.
I thought it was charming.
Maybe more inundating than not, but either way, I mean, I think you look, despite all the closed jokes, you're going to fit in anywhere you go. Everybody needs some sort of a good thumb. And I don't know if it's green, pointing to your tiny plant, but it's a good one. So just keep at it and let us know when you find your daughter, because you'll likely end up stumbling across my boy again.
I'll try not to punch him this time.
No, he probably deserves it. He's a little dick.
Fair. But I'll leave that to
Rowan's
you.
had it rough, okay?
Dakota gets a big smile out of that one. She doesn't hear Ollie say that very often.
Well, good luck,
Should leave more
Crowley.
often, Crowley.
And don't die. All right? Because, like, in my second afterlife, I will haunt you just because it'll be funny. Not even because I want to, but because literally you will make me laugh repeatedly. I've wanted to, but it's hard. I start drooling. This whole mouth thing is fucking awful.
Understandable. I have that effect on people.
Drooling? Or
I mean, you
hating
should have seen
laughing?
Ava when she saw me the first time.
La la la.
All right. I want to picture that, but I'm
No, you
going
really
to
shouldn't.
not.
No.
Yeah. And that's probably for the best. Well, take care of yourself.
Don't worry. I've got no plans on dying anytime soon. Too many people who need me.
Flash forward to his own daughter stabbing him in the gut. And on that goodbye, Ava and Crowley walk outside, past the outside the movie theater, and one of Ava's drivers is waiting. You were, of course, not told to meet the Ivory Tower, where this has to be done. Something this powerful. See, reaching a mortal is different. They have the entirety of their soul. Reaching a kindred, the sliver of soul left, if even possible, is much, much more difficult. You were instructed to bring him where you first were brought with Mr. Vitale.
Oh God! And Crowley's coming with me.
Crowley's coming with you.
All right.
Can we go
How-
past Needles' church?
Absolutely. If you want to make that detour first, you make your way north and you stop very briefly at the small park, and the church is about 20 to 25% renovated at this point. He's doing a one-man job and he's doing quite nicely. As you make your way in, does Ava stay in the car and leave Crowley to go by his own?
I'll let Crowley say his goodbyes
Yeah.
by himself.
As you make your way in, Crowley, as always, he's trying not to be visible. However,
You
you
do know
are.
I can see you this entire time.
He chuckles loudly, which breaks the invisibility that you can see through in the first place. He's like, yeah, but you never know. Sometimes.
True. You're
good
getting
to
pretty
see
good
you.
at it.
Thanks. Good to see. What can I do for you tonight? Oh, yeah, tonight's the night, huh?
Yeah. Just wanted to say, the rest of the gang will look out for you.
They seem like good folk, and if you keep them company for as long as you did, then they must be.
Okay,
I can go to them if you mean it. If shit gets bad.
Even if shit doesn't get bad. Why not?
I don't want to be a burden on them.
There's too few good people around. Just pop in and say hello even if you're, not in dire straits.
Yeah. Well, you guys did me a big favor getting rid of the Baron, and also, I'm eternally in your debt. Yada yada.
Yeah, nah. Don't bother about that. Oh, we fished this out of the Baron's place, and I just pull out, the remains of the trash bag with money in it.
Mm-hmm. Kind of just huck it on the floor. He walks over and just crouches to both his knees. Doesn't pick up the bag. He just opens it on the floor as it is, and he kind of picks up and looks up to you with a confused look back down. I thought he would have. And then he kind of piles through. This is more than I gave him, and he just starts counting up a little bit, and then he takes his portion, he puts it on the ground, he's like, this doesn't, and he brings it over to you. This ain't mine.
Yeah, we tried to give away some of it, but we didn't know where the rest went, so...
He kind of leaving his hand out holding the bag, his mouth kind of slightly agape. You... For real?
Dude, sometime I have to tell you about all the Nancy gold I've got hidden under my floorboards. Long story.
His arm drops and he looks to you even more baffled. I don't know if I want to know.
Probably not. So,
I mean, this is going to go, and he gestures to the church grandly, right back into this. I mean, how long did you say you were going to be gone?
No idea. It could be a few weeks. It could be months. Could be a year. I don't know.
Well, if it's any of the latter ones, this place will be fixed up by the time you get back. But if you get back earlier, hopefully you'll be mostly done, and you can maybe help me finish the finishing touches and shit. I don't know.
You're doing a good job.
Thanks. It was a pleasure meeting one of our kind, I guess. That wasn't a piece of shit. So, thanks for that.
No problem. And yeah, your brother will be proud of what you've done with the place.
He looks around again. Thanks. And next time you're around, if it wouldn't be too much, maybe I could talk to my brother again.
Yeah. Next time around, we can do that.
He just takes a deep breath and kind of reflexively, and he just reaches out his hands for a handshake.
I'm gonna give him a hug. He's gonna get a
you
hug.
grab his hand, you pull him in, and he kind of surprisingly, you bring him in for a hug, and you put your arm around him. And there's a brief moment or two before he also brings his hand up around your back as well. And he just says, thanks. And you separate, leaving the money that was once his, plus some, with needles to work on the church, and back into the car with Ava.
There's actually one thing I want to do on our way.
Sure, what would you like to do?
On our way to the place.
Absolutely.
I looked to Crowley. Since you're leaving, there's something I wanted to give you. A gift. I hope you have room for it in that bag of yours. And she pulls out of her purse an old, not super old, like a kind of vintage camera. It's not digital. It's she opens it up and she puts a fresh thing of film in there and closes it. Remember that night that you and I went to that theater and took a bunch of photos? Yeah. Well, this camera, kind of similar to that. It's not digital. You don't have to worry about that. It's got a fresh reel of film in it. You should take some photos of your journey. Maybe not the part where you get to the Inquisition lair, but the journey itself. And when you come back, you can show me.
Leans
if you
back,
want to test it.
takes a picture of Ava.
she poses.
She was like, it was instant. Like as soon as you picked up the camera, she was already posing, knowing it's just Toreador instinct. She knows it's coming.
Like you don't even see the position change. You look at the picture; she's perfectly posed. You're like, how did you do that? That's why they have celerity.
I'm always ready. Yeah. Exactly.
Remember you by.
Sweet.
Matt's just throwing up in the background.
No, that was the sneeze, bro. I just had the biggest sneeze coming. And then you drive. Crowley, where you're brought is towards the ivory tower, but you're not brought in. You're brought past it in the back, underground, through some underground kind of concrete hallways that eventually lead to sewers that eventually lead to dirt halls. This all looks very familiar. The labyrinth was a hell of a place the last time you were here. But Ava leads you here through wooden doors etched into dirt walls with roots pouring out of them, rooms with nothing in them, rooms with torches in them, and a descending spiral staircase until eventually you led into a very small 10 by 10 gray concrete brick room. There are chains in the center, but nothing chained to them. This is where you were led last time, Ava. And this is where you were told to lead him here this time. There's no immediate feeling for both of you as you're left lingering here.
Okay, pretty weird place to keep your brother's ghost.
It is incredibly weird and frightening.
Time passes. Light conversation, but you're not entirely sure how much time. You're maybe swear it was only 5 minutes, but The more you think about it, the more you feel like hours have passed. But you may have only said a couple of words to Crowley. But there was a point in time where you're positive he said something for long, extended periods of time. It's all a blur. Time starts losing its meaning here. Until eventually, the room begins to go dark. The 1 or 2 torches lingering in the corner go out. And that ever-present void creeps over before the sound of one of the doors opens and slow, methodic footsteps make their way in. A figure can be seen laying at the base of the room, a scroll, a jar, and then a book. They step back, and Ava, you recognize him now that the gentle light is coming through from that other hallway as it's open. Mr. Vitale. He is slowly placing things at the center. And then he gestures. You recognize these, Crowley, as ritualistic things.
I assume I also recognize Mr. Vitale considering I followed him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, you followed him. You do recognize Mr. Vitale.
I'm Crowley. I say, good evening, Mr. Vitale.
The only
Vitale?
response you hear, much as Ava is not surprised, is like a very quiet, audible breathing. Correct.
Yeah, that's about all he says. I like whisper
Ava
over
is
to
just like-
Crowley.
She's like, it's just,
This is
how he
just
is.
him. You know,
gotta
I took
say,
him out
this-
for a night.
This is one of the weirder dates I've been on.
Oh, this is so creepy. Ava will like slowly walk toward Mr. Vitale.
He does not respond or react to your approach. He simply gestures at the scroll, the jar, and the book.
I look back to Crowley.
I turn on Sense the Unseen then.
As you turn on Sense the Unseen, it is rather difficult to take in everything that is swirling here. Spirits. They fill this room like a pool.
There's an awful lot here to pick from. Okay. I'm gonna walk forwards to the book.
As you kneel down and maybe open the book and take a look at the scroll, going over things, not participating or making any like ritual rolls and whatnot, you recognize some of this. This is not a blood sorcery ritual you are familiar with, but there are aspects of it that you are familiar with because in the Hekata rituals, there are things that this is pulling from. In order, for instance, to bring mortal bodies back from the dead, there are words from there in the incant there that are mixed into here. It's clear that this is in some way meant to reach further into the abyss than one might have to if they were to reach for a mortal. But that is why what it requires is kindred vitae. And as you pull the jar up and swirl it around, you realize there's a thick red viscous liquid in here.
Okay. I assume this is gonna be powerful enough.
He simply just watches.
Sure.
Do we see Crowley begin to perform and draw out the runes and read from the book and open the jar? As you open the jar, it even smell the powerful, sweet scent of kindred vitae overpowers you.
Okay. Right. Yeah. That's do. Crowley just turns around, winks at Ava, and begins.
The door will shut. Darkness is necessary here, and Crowley begins his rather detailed, long ritual. It is longer than anything he has prepped or anything he knows personally, but the guidance in these books and scrolls is enough to carry him through step by step. Using the kindred vitae, he writes runes into the ground on the bricks that completely encircle him. He uses it then to christen himself, line over the forehead, a line on his stomach, and then all around his lips and down his cheeks, taking a sip for himself, and it is entirely too sweet for Crowley's personal taste. Still, it's delicious nonetheless. And he goes for an hour, for 2, until Crowley you realize you're no longer acting on your own accord. You're attempting to stop saying the incants, to speak this language, but you can't. You make concentrated attempts to stop your hand gestures, but you can't. You're lost in this. The sounds of the screaming spirits get louder, and them in front of you blind you to both Ava and Mr. Vitale in front of you. It cannot be heard, but you continue to spill forth words that you do not understand. Ava, you watch as Mr. Vitale takes 2 gentle steps forward. You're watching as Crowley is moving his hands in rapid succession, in ways that make no sense, and words that pour out of his mouth are faster, almost incoherent. Mr. Vitale takes him by the chin, lifts his head up, is still spouting words, and you can see a blood tear coming out of one of his eyes as his hands continue to move. Mr. Vitale exhales loudly. His mouth opens and you watch as he gets rather close. Your sense the unseen can pick all of this up, Ava. As pouring out of his mouth is an endless stream of blackness and spirits. They pour into Crowley's mouth, filling him, but he still attempts to say these words, but now it sounds like he is filled with this thick liquid in his mouth. He can't truly enunciate any further, but Vitale continues. And you watch as it begins to pour down the sides of his cheek and down his chin. He gags and he coughs. You can see the tears now coming down both of his eyes, and his hands still making those gestures, still continuing to do what they were doing before. And as Mr. Vitale continues until those last of that inky blackness pours forth and his mouth snaps shut and he lets go of Crowley, all the gestures stop. The words stop pouring forth. The last sputter out of his mouth, and he collapses to the ground, motionless. You hear Ava.
It is done, child.
Well, what's happened to him?
Take him home. He rests in torpor. The ritual will complete itself, and then you can speak to Zach.
Where?
Home, wherever you take him.
How long will this take? How long will he be like this?
I do not know. This is the first.
Ava will just lean down to Crowley. It's kind of
His
like...
eyes are normal again. There's no blackness coming from his lips. He simply looks as though he's lying in torpor.
She's gonna try to just like rest his head up and
you do.
And Vitale is still there?
Yep, he's still there.
Okay.
Take him,
Oh.
Ava. You are welcome.
Yeah, Ava doesn't say thank you, but she does.
And you lift him. Now, where would you bring him back to?
I'm not sure.
Would you bring him back to the movie theater?
Oh
You
god, what
you
a...
also have a septic tank.
You have a septic tank. You have the penthouse.
You have a key
the
to
bar?
Crowley's.
You have choices.
I
Like-
do, and I'm like, the question is, do I bring him back to the coterie? And they're just gonna be like, what the fuck, Ava?
Well, Ava doesn't know that this was going to happen.
It's true. She didn't know, but she didn't even let them know that this was gonna happen. So, she'll take Crowley. Oh God. I think
just to a
she's
landfill.
I think she'll actually take him to the penthouse. At
Okay.
least, yeah, she feels like that's a secure place
Okay.
to take him.
So, Ava would return to the Ivory Tower, gifted this torpored body that supposedly, once the ritual is done, you'll be able to finally speak to Zack through Crowley. And you place him, I'm assuming, in a bed or a couch, and you lie him there. How many days have to pass before Ava decides she needs to tell somebody?
Oh man, Ava was thinking this was going to be an instant thing,
I know.
so she's pretty impatient right now.
I know.
She's
Hours
gonna,
pass.
yeah, she's pacing. I think the next night, actually.
Okay. The next night, as you awake, everybody rouse check for the next night, and you walk into your living room. Yeah, you're fine. You don't need to. You walk into your living room, and there Crowley lies, looking like he's in torpor.
What the like, Ava is, yeah, she's not feeling okay. She's gonna send out a word at the tower to see if she can get her coterie to get Ollie and Dakota to come meet her at the tower.
Sure.
A
You
word?
would easily, it would be very quick. You have the pull to send a little messenger, a ghoul of some sort, or a mortal contact over to, where would you send him? The bar or to the movie theater? Wherever you would send them to, wherever they would end up being.
Yeah,
basically.
I would say both.
I would
Yeah.
probably
At the
be
bar.
at the bar.
Yeah,
Send
start
the
at the
theater.
bar. So Ollie and Dakota, as you're getting together for the evening, not out of the ordinary, there's a rapid knock at the front door.
We expecting company? Like any more than normal?
Nope. Is this before opening hours usually for the bar?
Oh yeah, this is before opening hours.
Right? I go check the door.
As you look through the door, there's just a young woman standing on the outside, wearing jeans and a t-shirt, impatiently tapping her foot as she looks around, her hair in a ponytail.
Yeah, it was sorry we're not open yet.
Not here for a beer. I'm looking for a Miss Dakota Rain and a Oliver Hopkins. Am I?
Sure. Yeah, you get the right spot. What's up?
Miss Heloise requests your presence at her penthouse suite.
Oh God.
Is this immediate notice?
She did say it was rather urgent.
Oh no.
All right.
If it puts your minds at ease, she's not hurt.
It doesn't. She's never hurt.
She just
You're-
simply nods. That's all I got. Have a good night. And
It's
she
just
leaves.
the people around Ava
Yeah, I know.
that are always hurt.
I know. It's great.
Ollie, on a scale of 1 to how fucked up is this?
What were you saying last night?
Oh, it's probably pretty terrible. Probably pretty terrible. So let's, keep a chin up. And we'll see what this is like, all right?
Stroll
Head
through
to
the
ivory
sewers.
tower.
Yeah,
Sorry, go
it's
ahead. I was like, you
stroll
head to
through
the-
the sewers, yeah.
Oh, yep. Head through the ivory tower, through the sewers, and eventually into the actual penthouse. Eventually, you get to the 37th floor. Sorry, not the 35th floor, and you knock. Ava, you hear the knock at the door and a quick peering through, and you see two familiar bodies.
So I will actually put Crowley's body in my bedroom and
Okay, not to immediately shock them.
Yeah.
The body is moved to the bedroom,
Yeah.
and the door is opened. As you walk in,
Just weekend
Her-
at
this
Bernie's
pet-
the body, like on the sofa with the remote in hand.
he's fine. As you walk in, this is the first time you're seeing Ava's new penthouse suite. It is double the size of her last.
Of course it is.
hi, welcome. Come in.
Walk in, door opens and shuts.
I don't touch anything.
Have a seat. And she'll like gesture to her very luxurious couch, and she has like two like single seats and like a coffee table in the center.
Nice pad.
It's got a few upgrades. Yeah, it's it's really nice.
A few upgrades.
You have a lot of conversation here. It's a nice coffee table. You don't strike me as a coffee drinker.
I thought it would add to the setting. We could, have meetings here and discuss important things. And
We're gonna discuss now.
do you want any wine,
No.
Ollie?
That's a way to lead that.
I don't know. That's what Sienna always asks me when she comes here. So I just thought, I would give you guys some extend the offer to all of my guests. So
Well, since you know, it was
Ava is
labeled
very
urgent.
clearly losing her shit in front of you. This is very rare. Ava's always very composed, and she is losing her mind in front of you.
How about I pour you some wine, you sit down, and you tell us why the fuck we're here?
I wish I could drink it. But look, yeah, clearly I called you both here not for a little chit chat. Of course, it's something rather urgent. There's something very important I need to tell you both. All right, I get it. You want me to spit it out?
It's a
Yeah,
911
yeah.
thing. It's a top secret. It's a high priority.
Okay, we're here for all of it, Ava. Keep going.
A few nights ago, more like a week or two ago, I was given a gift, and the offering of a gift by the prince.
Okie dokie.
Wait for it.
The gift.
There it comes.
The gift was something I was not expecting, and I'm
Your virginity. We're off the hook. Let's go. All right.
The point is, the gift was.
The gift was the chance to bring back my brother, Zach, to speak with him. His soul, she has it. She has part of it.
Okay,
She has my brother's soul.
and she's gonna give it back?
She offered it to me
For what?
for what I thought was nothing. It was a gift for my loyalty.
Okay,
Well,
Ava,
she
did you
informed me.
accept this gift?
I did.
Okay.
You know, you only get gifts when two things happen. You can probably guess them. Is it your birthday? We'll start there. Is it your birthday? You a big girl now.
Birthday.
Okay.
No.
When is my birthday? Is that what you just said?
Yes, such a Dorian.
It's always, we could say that I said that.
Oh, that's okay. That's what I heard. I heard Ava's like, it's always my birthday.
It's always, no.
Okay.
The other thing is you banging the prince. You banging the prince? Is that your thing? You into that?
What? I hope not. Ava, it's just tell us the truth. When have we not ever had your back?
I know. And I'm sorry that I didn't tell you all this sooner. I didn't expect it to be a mess.
Okay. So will you show us the mess?
I needed somebody who has the ability to go beyond the veil and grab these souls.
Okay.
Somebody we know. Crowley.
Okay.
So when he talked to your brother
Crowley
then.
did the ritual,
Okay.
as I've seen him do before.
Yeah.
Talk to other ghosts, except it didn't go the way I thought it would. His eyes went black. Weird shit came from his mouth, and he's in torpor as we speak. And Ava will immediately get up and like frantically walk to her room very
And the very
hurriedly.
rapid clicking of high heels down the hallway, and you hear the door swing open. As you follow her in very slowly, you can see laying on the bed, kind of haphazardly, there's Crowley's body, staring blankly at the ceiling.
Okay. Well, he's only in torpor. He's not dead, so let's take one for the team. And
The prince, or it wasn't, I don't even, no, it wasn't even the prince. They
With
said
awareness,
that-
all three of you.
oh no.
My body turns into a flesh theater.
Yeah, that's it's Amici. It's Amici.
You just really want us to be cheated, and at some point, EE.
Yeah.
Ava,
Two.
you're the only one. As you're describing this, you actually see out of the corner of your eye, you swear you saw like a weird glimmer of something. As you looked over and really tried to catch it, you actually caught, just for a moment, right off of his pinky knuckle, what seemed to be a piece of flesh whisk away. This is the middle of you explaining like what's happening, and you catch it just the corner of your eye.
Okay.
I'll like immediately walk up to the body.
So-
As you walk, she cuts herself short. She walks over to the body and pulls the hand, and there on the knuckle is a small gap, a dent. It looks like skin has burnt away. It literally looks like charred marks all around the sides.
Ava, what's wrong now?
I don't know. Look at this. His body is starting to decay
Yeah, as she
away.
shows it to you, you all see obviously the cleared char marks. Looks like burnt.
Hey,
That's
Ava,
not normal.
can I ask you another question?
Yes.
So was it the deal we got a Zach out of this? Where is Zach?
I saw his soul. I don't know where.
But did you get it back? Wasn't that the deal?
Yes, and that's still part of the plan. I just don't know how
She
exactly.
said that the ritual would fit and complete itself within Crowley.
It's supposed to finish. It's a ritual, and Crowley is part of it.
Well, if the ritual's not done, there's nothing we can do but sit here and wait. Right?
I guess.
I look at Ollie like, what are we supposed to do? Like, I don't know.
All right, so for starters, why the fuck would she do this for you?
Oh no.
You may need to sit down for this one too.
All right, come out with it.
Look, after the things with Mr. Vitale, I showed him around the city. Did everything that the prince told me to do. And I was brought to a place, a deep, dark place, where I was brought the body.
She's so drawing this out.
I'm paid for the whole seed, but I only need the edge, apparently.
It's really hard to tell. I was brought the body of Camille.
I thought Camille was dead.
What?
I thought Camille was exiled.
Okay, and she wasn't.
No.
Where's Camille now?
Camille is in me now. I diablerized her.
Ollie leaves. Ollie has no idea.
Ollie,
Like this
Ollie, Ollie, wait!
is what? Wait, where?
Wait.
What?
Just wait.
Look, you all.
It's okay.
You need to know the truth of what happened.
Okay, okay. So, the prince let you eat Camille?
I think
Offered,
it's-
actually.
I think it's beyond what the prince wanted. It's what the
Okay.
sandwich wanted.
I see. So
Or-
the sandwich wanted you to eat Camille. And then
Well, it was either that or die.
And then the sandwich turned around and offered you another gift.
I don't know if this is a byproduct of being a Heloise or a Toreador, but your survival instincts are fucking gone. They're gone.
What if? What? Ava, have you ever? No, that's a dumb question. I know the answer to that.
Listen,
know
I don't
you've never-
need the intervention talk right now, okay? I've got it plenty of times. I'm telling you guys this for your own necessity, because you're my coterie and you need to know the truth.
I don't know what to do about it, Ava. At this point, like I said, we're just sitting here waiting for Crowley to finish cooking.
And I don't want to keep secrets from you anymore. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you this immediately. It's not exactly something I want to immediately share with people.
It's okay. It is all right. I get that she probably forced you to do it, yes?
Yes, after I talked back to her, and I was about ready to die in that moment.
Okay. The good news is you're not dead. The bad news is she is fattening you up like a holiday hog, babe.
Probably. At this point, I'm probably dead. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, that is not always the answer. So far, she needs you. Or she would have gotten rid of you, right?
Yeah. Clearly.
So,
And that's why I'm being given all of these gifts, is because I'll keep doing things for her.
So what if you didn't accept the gifts? Okay, I'll take the silence as maybe that's not an option.
If you had the opportunity to bring somebody back that you loved, that died, that you didn't even get to say goodbye to, that your own flesh and blood, my brother.
Are you asking us what would we do if we had a chance to go back to our other lives? Because we've all experienced that. And some of us had it better there.
But Zach was part of this life.
Zach got himself
With us.
killed twice. Twice.
Yeah, and I could have nearly gotten myself killed many times.
How you keep getting away from it is completely... It's an obtuse line of thought to me. I don't understand it. Girl, your jaw is made of titanium. I don't see how you can keep taking it at this point. You just keep getting line drives to the face over and over again, and you're walking away. How? Remember a while ago I told you, at some point, you gotta see these things coming. People lead up. They follow from the shoulder straight down the arm. You see that she's buttering you up for a reason. Right? I mean, Dakota, you see it. You said she's fattening her up like a hog. What could she want out of you?
Yeah. Okay. You know what, Ava? I'm going to applaud your bravery. And as the person that was there to, say, remove your brother's head the last time, I can tell you that he did it.
And it's not even about bringing him back. I could have at least just talked to him.
And for what? He wrote his manifesto in blood on your walls. What could Zach possibly tell you? It's just okay to want your brother back. I'm not blaming you for that. I'm just saying we need to address the obvious. So thank you for being honest, because now we know that she has plans for you. Which gives us a leg up. Unfortunately, Ollie's right. You're gonna have to keep taking punches, Ava. As for Crowley, and I look over at poor Crowley, is he still there? What is happening with the bodies?
Yep, he's still there. Just that little burn mark on his knuckle. That's all.
Okay.
So we just wait that out?
I guess we do.
Want to leave him here, or would you like to take him somewhere else?
We could take him somewhere else. I figured this place would be the safest.
Does anybody else know about this?
You are the only ones, and the prince, I guess. That's why I thought this place would be a safe haven, because at least the prince is aware of what's happening.
You're right, it probably is. Ava, have you had this apartment checked for bugs?
No.
FYI, you know your season 1 apartment was checked by Zach, and Zach was like, there are 5 bugs. I'm not talking in here. Just in case you forgot the scene in season 1.
It's okay. It's fine.
We can
think
go
we should
somewhere else.
leave him here. And maybe we can meet up. We should
Yeah.
stash Crowley's van.
You have a place
For
at
a
least
while.
where you stashed it last time.
Yeah, we should stash it for a little while. I don't think he'd forgive us if he came back and I wasn't there.
So is this just gonna be? Is this Crowley? Is this? Am I perceiving this wrong? That it was supposed to just be a conversation and Zach is back?
It was supposed to be at least a conversation with him in, I don't know, in a ghost form or something, and Crowley was supposed to be the one doing the ritual.
And then you were just gonna get a chit chat with Zach?
That's what I was led to believe.
Oh my. Okay. Well, did you get your chat?
No, Vitel was there.
I just
Okay.
asked you if anybody else was there, and you said no, it's just us.
What was Vitel?
Sorry, I should have clarified that. Vitel is also there.
What's his part in all this?
He is probably some other sort of vessel.
For
He's a husk of something. He doesn't talk.
Okay.
He doesn't. He was there part of the ritual, but not really doing anything with it. It was all on Crowley.
okay.
Okay. All right. Well, how often are you around this Vitel?
This is the second time. I took him out that one night, the night I told you about. In the same place we were brought to.
Okay. We should start tracking your interaction. If this is something that she's trying to do, fatten you up, as it were. We need to know when you're meeting with him and why. Not after.
I know. I will keep you both in the loop. I
Just
didn't
maybe-
mean to intentionally keep this from you. I wanted to tell you.
I
You
know,
guys are
it-
my family. And I know you may not agree with everything I do. But we're in this now, and I'm in this now, and
Okay.
I do care about you both.
Did you tell us? Did Ava tell us about Saito? And Saito's like, do we know about Saito trying to block you from her?
You
I
don't know
told-
Saito did that, though I
Yeah.
believe Ava does know that Saito did that. I don't think the coterie knows.
The
that.
coterie doesn't know, but Ava does. Okay.
Ava does know because he sent like a
And
last.
Crowley
message.
knows that there was something very powerful, Oblivion-esque, tie-related thing happened because I was trying to combat it at one point.
Yes,
But I'm not
correct.
certain on the effect. And I related that to the coterie.
If we want to chat somewhere else about this more, we can.
I'm just, I could use some fresh air. And I can't touch anything in here because I'm pretty sure I'd get it dirty. So I'm gonna go outside and beat a dumpster for a little bit. And then when I'm done, I'll meet you all back at one of the many places that we've acquired that's now possibly in jeopardy. And we should watch Crowley or something. But you may not want to stay here, especially since we don't know what's going to happen, Ava.
So my clarifying question is, before we move forward, how often does one check back on Crowley?
Oh my god.
Once a day, couple times a day, or night rather.
I would say once a night, and if anything looks like
Sure.
more off than normal, then Ava would stick around.
Wow, your like concern is palpable. Oh, we're checking in once a night, you know. My love interest
Well-
and or brother.
Thanks. Yeah.
Checking in on him over the course of once a night, it's a very, very, very slow procedure. But you do realize that his flesh does seem to be very slowly burning away, charring to the bone down to muscle and turning to dust as it flakes off. His body truly looks like it is slowly dusting. And this goes on for days, a week, 2 weeks, until eventually, as the month comes to a close and Crowley is almost unrecognizable, just a burnt flesh husk on your bed, dust blown about the room. On the final night, as you arrive to check on him one more time, and you open the door and you make your way in and you open the door to your bedroom where his body has been deteriorating. Instead of a burnt corpse lying there, a clothless, nude body. It lies motionless, staring at the ceiling. But it is not that of Crowley's. Lying in his place is Zachary Heloise. But his eyes are black, not blue. And Crowley is truly, completely obliterated.
Can Crowley have done one last thing before he goes?
What would Crowley have done?
In torpor.
You can. If you spend 1 willpower point, you may do a very minor action. I would like to spend 1 willpower point for each letter to, using Crowley's own blood, to just write Emily on the bed sheets.
Over the course of nights, you would check in and a new letter might be written. And on this night, as you go in, Emily is finished on the blood sheet, written in blood. But Zach lies there, staring at the ceiling, motionless.
And it's my brother.
As you walk
up,
over
his
and
body.
go to you check and you grab him by the wrist and pull his hands up and you look him in the face. Again, other than instead of having blue eyes, it's just black.
Black.
You kind of hold him and look him in the face and you touch him. His hair is as you remember it. His skin is as you remember it. Though his features are slightly sharper and there's certainly a bit of a handsomeness to him. It is absolutely Zach. There is no question in Ava's mind as she plops next to him. Zach is lying beside him. Zach, it is you. And for the first time over the course of months, as you had fragments of consciousness through this, seemingly catching glimpses of a room that is not familiar and all too familiar, on this night, as the night started and the eyes open, you are actually in a physical place. You can feel gentle breeze crossing your dead skin. You feel the nip of a chilly nudeness to your body. You are physically present for the first time in what feels like an eternity. And we'll go on break here. And we'll come back in about 8 minutes. And we will continue for the last half.
The return of Zach.
We'll be back in about 8 minutes. Feel free to enjoy some fan art. That was a mess. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade version 5, Silence of Shadows, where everything goes great and nothing at all bad happens.
Not even a little bit.
No, not remotely.
I hope you all know we're lying to you.
I don't know.
All
What's my
lies.
insight roll?
Me, though, right? None of you would want to lie to me.
Well, Mathis,
I'll
whatever
find
makes you
out.
sleep at night, friend.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
The scene continues then. Ava on the bed. But Ava, you have nigh a minute or so to really even comprehend what is in front of you, as unrealistic as it seems, as dreamlike as it may seem, and yet as tangible as it truly is. There is a gentle knock, knock, knock on your front door.
Boy. Ava will like slowly get up, like continuing to just stare at like her brother's face, like,
Yeah.
but she will just like walk back and go right to the door.
As you peer through the door and crack it open, there stands Bella.
I knew it. My prince,
May I?
come in, of course.
Thank you. And she steps through as the door shuts behind.
Can I get you wine?
No, just show me where he is.
He's in my room, and I will lead
She
her.
nods and she actually leads the way, walking to where your bedroom is and throwing the door open. There lying Zach. She walks over to him and gazes over him, looks him up and down, and looks to you. Well, I hope you were pleased with the result.
I'll be honest, I didn't realize it would be at the sacrifice of my friend.
That was by design. We wouldn't want you to turn this down over something as silly as the life of a wanderer who made his way into Chicago, would we?
She just stares.
And with him,
reply.
she sort of semi-shrugs. So too goes the ability to do this again as well. So it's safe to say we won't see it again.
Well, that's it then. It's him
It is
in his body.
the caitiff that he was. Of course, that's not the story we will tell. So let's get our story straight, Miss Heloise. Your brother has been gone for quite some time. Presumed dead. That was, of course, the excuse we gave at Elysium. He crossed some laws and he was killed, simply to make sure that those who would hunt him were thrown off of his case. We sent him on a mission, take care of some problems out north. No one could know where he went. If they did, they'd kill him before he got there. Zach was always more useful to us alive, of course, and the reward for such a thing, the reward for a job well done, full embrace into Clan La Sombra. As Ava looks over, she smiles. Now, of course, that's simply a lie we're going to tell, Miss Heloise. He is not La Sombra.
That somehow is better than being a caitiff.
It's more accepted. It's legal here in Chicago. Remember, I outlawed caitiff and thin bloods some time ago due to the actions of your brother. That remains.
Of course. All right, well, that's a story I can stick by.
Good. Magnificent to see him lying here.
It is.
A gift. She kind of comes to, almost lost for a minute in that thought, and then smiles very pleasantly at you. Have a busy night, and I'm sure you do as well. The two of you get reacquainted. And the rest of your coterie will be coming by, I'm sure. Good.
Yes.
Have a great night, Miss Heloise. And again, congratulations.
Thank you, my prince.
And she leaves.
I'll also send out a note to summon.
Yep.
I feel like I'm to summon the rest
Well,
of the
yeah, you don't want to
coterie.
leave the side, of
Yeah.
course. You're too nervous,
Yeah.
and he's not moving still.
Yeah.
Very, very still, kind of
Yeah.
catatonic. And so at the bar, this night, there's another rapid knock at the door. This is about 4 weeks after, so about a month after everything happened. in that time, the movie theater has being renovated. It's still being renovated. It's taking some time. Things are kind of being taken care of to make sure it's a safe haven for you all to stay at, which it has at least become a safe haven. And for those who are curious, statistically for the domain, as it's kind of coming into its own, what are the 3 ratings of your domain? Chassis, Leon, and Portillion. Chassis is 4, is it?
5.
Chassis 5. And then the other 2 are 2?
The other 2 are 2 currently.
There you go. So very easy to feed here. The people here kind of come and go, and that comes with having so many shops and little nooks and crannies to explore. But the security, while certainly great, it's not, I mean, certainly good, it's not great. It's not the hardest to poach here. However, on this particular night, you're still at the bar, probably getting your early night together, maybe making your way back down south to kind of look at things before you have another rapid knock at the door.
My cell has been installed. I put a
cell has
cell
been
in our
installed.
haven. I go to.
Well, we'll
check
actually
bars.
get a really good explanation as to what it all looks like when we all visit. I'm excited to see what a renovated movie theater looks like. But the door, there's a rapid knock at the door before opening hours again. And as you kind of look out, a familiar girl's face that you remember seeing a little over a month ago.
Okay.
As you open and you ask what it is, again, Miss Heloise is looking to summon you to her penthouse suite. And she simply leaves after just deploying that message, now knowing that you are Ollie and Dakota.
Well, let's make way.
And Dakota just chuckling like, fucking Christ. Into the sewers you go, and you make your way to the ivory tower up to the 35th floor. A knock. Ava answers. But Zach is still in the bedroom. I'm assuming you left him there.
God.
And so the door answers, and you are just greeted with Ava. Nobody else next to her.
I have something to show you all. In the room. He's back.
What?
Zach is back. My brother. It's actually him. See for yourselves.
Look to Ollie.
Well, what do we have to lose? Let's see it.
What? I have a lot to lose. Okay.
Taking a step in the door, whoever would be first. Expectantly,
Ava.
maybe
Yeah.
surprisingly, as Ava pushes through. As she said, there he lies. The only difference is instead of having blue eyes, they're black.
Are you just laying there?
Laying there.
What's wrong with him?
But it is him.
I don't know. He might take some time for him to come back.
Where's Crowley?
He's gone.
Like, you moved him somewhere?
No, Dakota. He's gone. His body decayed away. And now Zach is brought here. In his place.
You
Yeah.
traded Crowley for Zach?
I guess that's how it goes. I didn't know that. But I should have known. It wasn't gonna be just a simple handover.
It never is.
Crowley didn't deserve that. He didn't.
Well... Is he gonna wake up or something?
I hope so. The prince came here. On cue, as if she knew. She came to look at the body, so I assume that means everything went according to her plan. And let me know the story of Zach. The new Zach. As we all know, he was presumed dead among other kindred. But the truth is, or the story is, that he was taking care of some business. Now he's returned, not as a caitiff, but as a Lasombra. Of course, he's still a caitiff, but the prince won't have a caitiff here, of course. So, he will be known to everybody as Zach the Lasombra.
And that's for the cover up for the black eyes, then.
Seems to be.
Is he just like laying there catatonically?
Yes.
I'm gonna walk over to the bedside, kind of poke his cheek a couple of times.
Zach, I mean, you hear all of this, you process it, but it's hard to digest right now. It's also unerringly quiet, disturbingly so. Even them talking in the background is mute compared to what you're used to. The loud cacophony of incoherent screams and speeches, the constant ripping apart, emotional layer after emotional layer. There wasn't anything that she wanted to know that she couldn't pull from you. How much do you love your sister? And Zach would stop and try to prevent, but it's as though he was layered, pulled apart, tendrils pouring into his soul and ripping at him until she got the answer she wanted. How much do you care about your coterie? And she would poke and prod for what felt like eons until she got through to you, and she learned how you felt. Zach's best defense was always his wall, his facade, his ability to keep things at a distance, but she would never let him, no matter how hard he tried. There was never peace after your departure from the physical plane. There was never the promised quiet of eternal death. Instead, it felt like you fell into nothing but a pit and net of torture and misery, where your brain was picked apart, your very essence and who you are, the emotions and the human part of you that you tried to keep so distant and detached, was ripped to the forefront and examined closely. Every angle, what makes you tick and why you tried to hide it, she poured over and enjoyed. And as Ollie sits next to you and he pokes your cheek, all of it just suddenly ended. There was no goodbye. There was no bow on the top of that experience, shall we say. The only thing Zach right now remembers, the only clear thing he remembers, is the sound of an old British man begging for it to stop. And so Ollie plops next to you, pokes you in the cheek, and what did he say again? I apologize.
Hey. You said you're in torpor. You just resting? Wake up. Come on. Don't be a bitch. Wake up.
No. I'm gonna be quiet. You won't know if I stay quiet. You won't know.
Yeah, well, the world kind of needs you. So stop being a prick and get up.
No.
Okay, well,
This is the first time you've heard Zach's voice in a long time. And it sounds as you remember.
your sister's gonna keep wading herself into trouble.
I already told you. I don't care about my sister. Don't care. Stop poking.
You stop lying to yourself. Stop being so scared. You died twice now. You got a third chance. You can lay there for a while, but not long enough. Nothing's gonna make the pain or the horror or everything that's terrible go away. It's neat makeup, though. Eyes look cool. But hey, we'll just keep digging ourselves deeper.
Digging,
As
stop
Ollie's
digging,
speaking
digging,
to Zach. Oh, please continue.
digging, stop digging, digging, stop digging.
And as he begins to mumble at Ollie in response, the camera blurs as we see past the bed at Dakota. I'm curious what Dakota looks like right now, watching the person whose head she removed from his shoulders, babbling, but responsive. Is she hunched? How does she carry herself?
I imagine she's kind of. I don't know if she's completely out of the room, but she'd be real close. She's probably just kind of hovering
Near the door?
near the door in like a shadow or darkness. She does not want to be seen.
Ava, much closer, of course. When she sees Zach begin to speak, what is her reaction?
She hears that and walks closer to the bed and... Zach? She kind of just like cries out to him.
I look up to her. Is he fed?
I don't think so, no.
Is he,
Blood.
Is he still like, like Zach was? He like him by the bag? Or does he have the proclivities of Crowley?
I'm not sure. I
Stop using her
assume he's
voice.
still...
Stop using her voice. Stop using her voice. Stop using her voice.
Zach, it's me. It's actually me.
No,
Hey,
no,
look,
no, 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 no.
Can I get an intelligence occult roll, please?
Yes.
While she does that, Dakota hears all of this. Would she know where in the ivory tower to go get a blood bag?
You could procure one or ask for one. There's not like a ready supply, but there are a couple people you know that kind of
Like, I feel like if I go to the front desk, that I'm like,
you could
hey,
like make a bargain for somebody who's like, listen, I'm tight spot. I need something.
yeah,
you know,
I mean,
and they can hook you up.
shit, I'll even play the hound card if I have to. That's just like, I need a bag. Make one happen.
You know what? You make me. That's absolutely a much better call. You're a hound. You can use your status. You have status, do you not?
I do.
You may use your status, charisma status.
No.
Charisma persuasion or manipulation persuasion plus status rather.
Manipulation.
And Ava, with one, you
Mhm.
see the black eyes and a thought percolates. You've been able to communicate with Saito in a particular manner. Perhaps you can do the same here.
Yes. Good. Yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm going
Since
to...
it's a forced premonition. It's a rouse check.
Share the senses.
So that'll be manipulation.
Okay,
And
got it.
basically.
And hunger?
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead.
You're just gonna reach
and...
over to him, grasp his hand, and attempt to kind of reach out as though you would reach out to Saito in a dream. Though not quite the same, maybe it'll work. And as you grasp his hand and Ollie, you stand and watch. Does Ollie say anything before she does it? I mean, she's not gonna like surprise attack. Aha! You're gonna see it coming. You've seen her do this before.
I'm just preparing strong backhands in case it gets weird.
With one success is all you're looking for, you would get you would be able to procure a bag as a hound easily.
Okay, that's what Dakota kind of slinks out and procures one, and then she'll come back.
Sure, she'll come back in the middle of what this is happening. But Ollie, I apologize.
I know. I'm just preparing backhands in case they get weird. Because sometimes they need to be
prepared
knocked
to
out
just
of it.
pounce their face and knock them on the
Yep.
ground. Understand? And we watch as Ava reaches over and grasps Zach's hand, cold as it may be, and she takes a long blink before opening her eyes, and they are like his, black. And Ava, you disappear. It's not like when you talked to Saito. You don't appear on a street with buildings and a thumping road. You don't appear beside a Zachary who's standing there willing to have a conversation. Instead, the feeling you immediately get is that of somebody who begins to plummet. That sinking feeling that rises to your chest as you free fall into nothing. The first thing you realize is there is no communication with Zach here. Not in the way that you had hoped. It's chaos. As you realize, and as that sinking feeling continues to permeate, the loud screams of Zach echo. It's as though thousands of Zacks are begging for help and screaming. Some sound like they're sobbing and begging. Some sound like they're pleading. Some sound like they're attempting to be assertive. But they're all in desperate pain. There's not a particular way to communicate with him, but he can impart feelings onto you. And the first thing you absolutely feel rather, more aptly, is fear. A primal fear. A fear that sends your beast slinking to the back and hiding like a cowering pup. Something that feels overwhelming. Whatever it was, first and foremost, the entirety of his existence was covered in existential dread. Zack was afraid. And he still is. It's clear that if this is Zack now, he's not even apparent that he's alive, so to speak. He is a chaos and a mess in his mind, and this is all he's experiencing now. A few moments pass, you blink, and she's back. Though, that was exhausting.
I look to Ollie. The Zack, he's not doing well. Nothing but dread and fear.
Just get a little food
Torment.
on his stomach.
It's at that point, as you like get a little food in the stomach, you can hear the heavy steps of Dakota. His door swings open and shuts. She walks in like she lobs a blood bag. onto the bed.
Yeah.
Ava will try to administer to Zack and feed him a bit.
Do you tear it so it just you can squeeze
Yeah.
it kind of into his mouth?
Yeah.
And so she reaches over to prop open his mouth, and with a small rip, she pulls the blood and she begins to pour it into his open maw. Now, Zack's at hunger. When we left him off, what was he at hunger at? Do we even remember?
He was at Hunger 4.
Well, he wouldn't be at hunger 4 returning, but he wouldn't be at hunger 1 either.
3.
He'd be at like a hunger 3 or 2. Nonetheless, this is a sensation that shocks Zack. This is not something he has felt. And again, what seems like a timeless, endless eons. This physical, warm, sweet liquid that is certainly kind, not kindred, falls into his mouth, and it sends a ripple effect through his body. Although you could kind of accompany it or compare it to chills. There's that physical energy that you can feel returning to a body, that physical reminder that you are somewhere else. And in that moment, things clear up. You know the conversations were happening, but now as you kind of feel your physical body almost re-energize slightly as this vitae pours into you, it's enough of a shock to the system to bring Zack present, if not still obviously a bit damaged.
Question, do we round up or down in VTM?
Depends on what you're rolling for.
I will message you.
It's typically down. In most occasions, it's down. It's always in the favor of the system.
Oh yeah. That's gonna end up for that you're gonna get a minimum of 1 though.
Okay, minimum 1, so yep. Cool.
Do we see him coming too?
Zack probably just starts to actually motion starts to suckle on the blood bag, much like a newborn calf or something. It's just like, ooh,
So you would see
physical
that
reaction.
Yeah, physical reaction to food being fed to him.
Is it intense reaction, or is it just like very slowly, like he's weak?
It would be slightly slow, but it's also like a very willfully driven. Like hands would maybe very shakily move up towards the blood bag and just pour at it, but the mouth is very much like it's an innate physical reaction rather than
It's
so
a
much like a
need.
decision.
It's a need.
Yeah,
It's a need.
Well, there's nothing like food that can wake someone up. Hey kid, bookworm. You
Bookworm.
alive in there?
That hits you like a ton of bricks, Zack. Not that their voices didn't, but the last time someone referred to you caringly, lovingly, the last time any good memories ever surfaced that wasn't ripped at and torn at and taken from you forcefully, Oh, you can't remember. And then a voice warmly calls you warm for Ollie, of course. Calls you bookworm, and it's almost like whiplash.
I'm gonna make a resolve composure roll.
Sure.
Okay. This is real. This can't be real. Also, Zach, like, hands are now like locked around. Is it Ava feeding the blood bag?
No, it was
Yeah.
tossed onto the. Oh, okay, sure. I'll say tossed on the bed, and I think it was kind of ripped open and handed to you. So yeah, it was Ava.
Hands start to just lock onto Ava's arm, and he starts to like pull himself just a little bit up.
Ava will try to help, like, again, prop your head up a bit, and it's us. It's me, Ollie, Dakota.
You see Zach go to start, like, fangs bared towards your hand.
Ava will offer, if it seems like he's in that desperate need to continue to feed, she will offer.
I'm assuming
She'll keep her wrist
Zach goes
out.
to feed then.
I will bite.
Okay, and you will feed.
I'll feed
How
down
now-
to
how many-
0.
Yep.
Okay.
You go up hunger 2.
So
Sorry.
that's-
Yeah, you go up
go
to
up
hunger.
2 hunger? Okay,
You also
I'm
take a point of aggravated damage from fangs.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
It hurts. Very, very slightly.
Ava,
Not as
yeah.
though it would be like a Hakata bite, but it still hurts.
She winces,
He
but
drains aggressively.
yeah, and then she'll eventually kind of try to help pull him away, and again prop his head up and look at him. Zach,
I'm gonna rouse the blood.
God.
I'm slightly warm. I'm warm. Warm? Warmth? Voices. Voices.
You're not where you were. I saw where you were. You're not there anymore. This is real.
No. I made sure I couldn't be.
Yeah, we know. You lost your head. You went a little too far in. This is real. Seeing that his skin is starting to take a little color and that he's talking about warmth, I'm just gonna, like, tap his cheek. Yeah, you're real. We're real. Guess what? You got redrafted, kid.
His eyes snap open wider. I've always
His eyes-
hated that fucking nickname.
Kid or bookworm?
Both. You do know I'm older than you.
Under what context?
Welcome back, Zach. It seems you have your big boy pants on. It's a good thing, because shit is fucked.
Just Zach's like left hand is just stroking the bedsheet next to him. Why am I back?
There's a lot. There's a lot to go through. I think we should kind of take it in strides here, Zach. But the bottom line is I helped bring you back. It was my choice.
You get Saito to help you.
No, he's gone.
I need some fresh air.
Same.
Yeah. You know what, Zach? Let Ava tell you all about it, and when you're
She can
all
catch
done,
you up.
we'll take you out for a movie.
You are well aware of what a fury frenzy is, the two of you. Just something to keep in mind.
Maybe don't
Sounds
go
like
too
an
far.
sounds like an Ava problem.
Maybe just a walk down the hallway.
Sure, do you want to leave the ivory tower?
Yeah, I need fresh
Yes.
air.
Dakota and Ollie are leaving the ivory
I
tower.
need fresh air. We've been here far too long. And you know what? Ava needs
It might not even
tell
occur to
Zach.
Zach that he's in the ivory tower right now. He doesn't really know where he is. He just kind of came to in this room.
I'm not processing like anything beyond
Exactly.
faces, voices, names, immediate stuff. Yeah. Also, I will make a fury frenzy for Saito, but it's gonna be a low one, voluntarily, if that's okay.
Yep.
Fine.
You're more than fine. Jesus Christ.
Like, fuck,
That's a
fuck
lot.
Saito.
Yeah, he was like, nah,
Look,
fuck
he's
Saito.
dead. He's gone.
At least he
kind of-
didn't type that loudly.
Sorry.
I once again, I like help Zach prop up fully, like maybe have him sit up physically on the bed.
While Dakota and Ollie go take a breath.
Yeah,
And they're like, okay,
yeah.
we're gonna go
I like
step out.
get Zach clothes and like
How
clothe him.
long have I been dead?
Months.
over a year.
Over a year now.
Fine. Wanna talk to Cammy.
She's also gone.
Gone where?
She's dead. Dead. Final death.
But now you can Fury Frenzy.
No, I can Fury Frenzy. What's the normal difficulty of this one?
So it's I'll be 3. I'm looking for a 3.
0!
Oh, Okay.
This is the first time Zach is Fury Frenzied.
You're pissed? What happens?
Oh,
You watch, Ava, as the beast, so ready, already at the edge.
It's like we're just walking out the door.
I know,
Yep.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't go
We're
far.
literally like getting ready to close
That's
the
why I
door,
said-
and we just hear
Yep.
like, "Wah!"
Yeah, no, so basically you're gonna be walking down like you shut the door and you hear a scream. Not like a pained one, though there's definitely like sadness behind it, but just a guttural shouting as Zach, your sister just told you the love of your life is long dead. You don't know how, but it must be simple.
I'm gonna go for Ava.
Ollie and Dakota, you hear that, and you're gonna make
I
an attack
actually-
on.
I stop and I stop walking and I look at Ollie and I go, should we turn around?
You and me. Which one?
Luckily for frenzying, he can't use any mental abilities, so he
It's
can't
fine.
dominate or anything.
I can. You know what?
Nah.
Neither of you need to come back.
I-
Ava
I-
can
I-
handle
No,
this.
we'll turn around. We're coming back.
He definitely just said he was older than me, and that's not right at all. I'm gonna go slow him.
Bantering back and forth. So make your attack at Ava. Ava, you're gonna make your defense attack.
Little known
Okay.
to you is I now have Oblivion 5 and I'm gonna destroy your soul.
Yeah.
I don't actually have the character sheet finalized for Zach,
Not if
so
I dread gaze you
Just give me,
first.
you're just animalistic strength brawl. You're
Yeah.
just gonna make a swing at her as you go to just try to rip her face off because she's in the way.
okay. I think I had 3 dice for this in the new sheet, so it'll be.
And for Ava, obviously, you're gonna go ahead and make your Dex Athletics check to dodge. The door is gonna open, and you'll all be in the same room in the next round.
Sure.
Okay, so you're looking to beat 1. You hit her for 2, and so you shoot 1 defense -1.
You take
You take
1 superficial halved and still
no,
existing.
you still take a minimum 1 anyway,
Yeah, minimum
1
one, so-
superficial. So you're gonna take 1 superficial damage as Zach, for the first time, just swings. And there's actually a little remnant of trainedness there. There was a lot of practice with Ollie over the years, and he actually follows through from shoulder to fist as he comes and just punches you right in the chest, sets you back a half a step as you hear the door fling open.
I think the follow through is
gonna-
like he leaves himself out of bed and then continues his momentum over and just collapses into a fist first.
Yep, that makes absolute sense. And
I'm gonna try to look at him in the eyes and gaze at him.
so he's going to get a +2 to this resistance because he's frenzying. What does he have to roll to resist? Ollie and Dakota, what are you going to do on your turn? So likely with the 2 of you in here, after even if Dreadcade's Gaze fails, He's not going to stand a chance. He's not going to get through. We don't have to.
No,
make all
we'll
the
just
rolls.
pin him down.
Resolve
Composure,
composure.
resolve.
So make me a rouse check first, Ava.
Yep.
So you're going to make me a resolve composure +2 die into that pool. You're looking.
Cool.
You're looking to beat 4 with your roll, Ava.
Yeah, I'm at hunger 5, by the way.
Oh god!
Oh shit! You need to make me a hunger frenzy.
2 hunger
after
frenzies.
this.
We just eat each other, and
Nice.
that's it.
This is perfect.
New
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, and then
Go
Ollie
for
and
Ava.
Dakota just exactly. They just eat each other and then we walk away.
We actually are the
It's-
parents.
It's very Shakespearean.
It is really.
Hey, you succeed on your hunger frenzy, but I still need you to make me your dread gaze roll. Zach is able to withstand your dread gaze unless you want to use a willpower.
I'm
but
gonna use a willpower.
okay, sure. Make me so reroll 3.
I can't use willpower when frenzying, so
Nope, you cannot. So that beats him by 1. That's enough to slow him down enough to get Ollie and Dakota over there to simply lock him down.
Hey, also, can I voluntarily? You just used dread gaze on someone who just came out of eternal fear, so I'm just gonna. Can I crawl into a ball
God.
again? I would like to go fetal.
Yeah, you can. Sorry, I'm still a little sick, everybody, so I'm like coughing every so often.
Okay, here's how this is gonna happen. Ava, go find some Chad to munch on. I almost called him Crowley. Zach,
Yeah.
shit is bad. I'm gonna suggest that you stay here for the night. Get some rest. Chill the fuck out. Come to terms with the fact that you just came from oblivion into your third life, huh? Okay? And your sister has sold her soul to a sandwich.
This is just the hard part of frenzy. Unfortunately, you have to beat him into torpor.
Yeah.
Which
what ends
I'm
up
getting,
happening.
I'm getting there.
Yeah,
I'm just
So
telling
you
everybody
can
out
still
loud
talk to him
what's
because
gonna
he's still
happen.
aware, but yeah, you end up having to beat him into torpor to stop him.
So now, Ollie's gonna slap some sense into you. And when we come out the other side, you're gonna be a lot calmer, right?
He can't
Ollie.
respond.
I have been waiting on this
I know.
Oh, Ollie hasn't had a chance to punch Zach ever.
ever.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you can't just restrain me for the scene, but sure.
No, he's got to beat you into torpor, unfortunately. It's the shitty part of frenzy, so he might as well do it in one punch if
No,
he
frenzy
can.
goes off the scene. If you can hold someone for a scene,
Is
but
it?
you have to hold them for the scene. Yeah, frenzy
For
only
some
lasts for
reason,
the
I
scene.
thought it was
Yeah.
in torpor.
It's what we've
He's
done
just gonna-
before to like, I think someone.
Let
I
me
can't
double
remember who it
check.
was.
Because that was the problem with Ollie frenzying is that he needed
Right.
to be
Oh, we
beaten
couldn't
into
restrain
torpor.
him for a scene though. That was the issue. With Ava, we have restrained Ava for a scene before. Because I remember when I was Crowley, I did it.
Oh yeah, that
I
was
might
when
have
we
just
were
had
in
the
the
rules
labyrinth.
wrong though at that point. I just want to double check.
Yep.
Frenzy ends with a scene. Frenzy is either a scene or an hour until they calm down. Yeah.
Is it a scene or an hour? Yeah, okay. Well, you could restrain him for an hour, or Ollie could just take a one swing punch if he wants to and knock him into torpor, which would end it. Yeah, okay,
I'm gonna
that's
do
it.
that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Ollie, you just see him, his fist clench. You see his veins bulge as he lifts him up. Wow.
I'm gonna willpower that.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. That's an unfortunate roll with the die.
Yeah.
Yep.
You also add 5 on top of it.
Of
That's
potence,
true.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
8.
I mean, even if he doesn't knock him out in one go, the next punch will do it. And we'll just even say just a couple punches, puts him into torpor. He's not unconscious. He's not aggravated or anything like that. Just enough to put him out. Keep him down for an hour for it to wear off. And Dakota gives that speech
Yeah.
prior.
And I pull a set of keys out of my pocket and I hand it to Ava. Here's the car we stole from the Baron. It's yours now. It's fancy and shit. Bring him over to the theater when you're ready. I'm gonna go take that walk, like I talked about.
Yeah, I'm gonna go feed.
And
I'll meet you guys in a few nights.
we'll try to have something ready for him to munch on.
Okay.
Does Ollie want to go with Dakota for that breath to have a scene, or do we want to push forward? I just want to make sure I don't miss anything.
How bad does Ava look right now in regards to like one physical appearance and two, like, is she showing any hunger at all?
Oh,
Is it something that's
the
visible?
hunger is, it's hard for her to, I mean, it may not come across because we're pushing to the end of the scene, but it's hard for her to focus on words when she has to very, very hard concentrate and be like, yeah, okay.
You probably
Couple
see her
nights.
like looking longingly at the Emily written on the sheet in
That's
blood.
in dried blood that would
Yeah.
be caked on that she can't, yeah, she couldn't quite get at and hunger at it. But yeah, she's clearly hungry.
Okay. And I know what it's like to be at Hunger 5 and
Oh, yeah.
have blood. And that's pretty much a feeding frenzy right there.
Yep, she'd have to make another roll. If she could slake a point of hunger off of you or
I'm
Dakota,
actually looking right now.
but you guys
I
are getting
can-
dangerously close to everybody
Mhm.
having access to everybody's
That's why I'm like,
disciplines.
Dakota hates that shit.
Yep.
Okay. Call over your little one, the man, the dude, the
Yeah, you could feed on Chad.
I was gonna, go to Eric. It was
Eric. That's his actual name.
Yeah.
Now you got a car to do it.
I'll just like head straight to him.
Yep. So you'll go there.
I'll find him.
I just want you to
and
make me
just-
a hunger frenzy roll because this could kill him. If you fail, Dakota and Ollie are gonna go out for the night, catch breath, dissipate, and Zach is he's gonna be left in the room. And you restrain your hunger frenzy. Beautiful.
Good.
Oh, you have
So
so
you
few
can
dice.
I know that was very dangerous, but
know,
you'll
right?
feed him down to where you'll get down to 2 hunger, and he will be out for basically a day and a half. He's alive.
Wait,
but-
what is the frenzy resist with Eric? The hunger frenzies.
Let me look.
More than one, right?
Why does it say?
That's-
Why did it say frenzy restrained then?
Because you just hit enter without putting in a limit.
Oh, gotcha. So
Do
yeah, you
I,
might have killed him.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
Do I?
Oh.
19.
no.
Yeah, you might have killed him. I'm gonna double check.
Okay. I mean,
Poor Chad.
actually, since we're talking about killing and potentially taking stains here, would I have taken a stain for what I did to Crowley?
No, because you didn't know what the outcome was gonna be.
Okay.
You didn't do it willingly.
Okay. I may take a
Yeah, he's dead.
stain for this. Oh no, my Eric! I have to
Kill
find
Eric.
a new one.
You
That's
kill
the
Eric
first
in his
thing I
home.
think of.
You feed on him. He wants foreplay, and you immediately run him to the bedroom. He's excited to see you. It's been a month basically since the last he's heard of you, and he was starting to call your phone a lot. And the fact that you're so ravenous and so hungry for it sends him into a tizzy. He doesn't even think about it, and you run to the bedroom. But before he can even tear off any of your clothes, your fangs are in his neck, and his eyes roll in the back of his head, and you hear that pleasant gasp and moan. But that all slowly finishes over the course of a minute or two as you completely drain him, and that breathing shallows. His heartbeat slowly stops, and the last twitches of his fingertips and legs kick before you're able to finally complete composure and pull your fangs loose, taking a deep breath and licking your fangs, and your hunger goes to 0.
The way today's going, I'm kind of expecting his ex-fiancée to show up at the door and be like, I forgive you, we can be together now.
No, that ain't happening.
Ava-
No.
Ava looks down at him, and the first thing she thinks of in her mind is, oh, now I have to find a new one.
You
She
are at
doesn't even
Humanity
care.
4. You are at
Doesn't
Humanity
even
4.
care.
Murder doesn't matter to you.
Yep.
He wasn't a touchstone or anything to you. You just have a mess to clean up now. Now you have to get
Yep.
so you have to find an
We don't have
excuse
a-
to.
we don't have
and
a
Ollie's-
Crowley.
Ollie's your best bet to do that now. He's got the contacts to help feign a crime scene, and Dakota's cop can help you with that as well. You're gonna have to let them in on it, but they can help.
Yep.
Could turn
Yeah.
him. You want a childer?
Oh, you could embrace him right now.
What a bad
I'm not
idea.
getting myself into any more. Okay, the coterie might
Bad
actually
idea.
exile me.
I love to see the restraint. I love to see the restraint, Ava, because that
The
would be breaking
coterie-
the law.
Would actually exile me.
The count says 1 day since Ava caused a problem, and I was like, should we just go back to 0 again? We're on a run, so.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Ava will eventually, let the crew know that we have to dispose of a body, but
And I'm sure over the course of the couple days anyway, where you want to, like, before you meet up again, Dakota calls in a favor, and Ollie reaches out to his contacts for the cleaners and the crime scene is very rapidly cleaned up. Not a big deal. You didn't leave like a bloody mess or anything. You killed the poor bastard. Drug overdose. Poor guy. A few days do pass though. Crowley, I'm even saying it. Zach, it's a days of in and out cognizance. You're aware of your surroundings for a few minutes of every day, and then back into the, it must be fake, it must be an illusion, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. But those moments of being present last a little longer and a little longer, and the more you realize you're not being ripped at, you're not being torn apart.
I'll be honest, I came back to be told that Cammy was dead, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
I was
for sure.
beaten up after being shown full dread. So, like, I think Zach's going to be quite happy
rough
with
one.
just pretending to be unconscious in the middle of the bed.
Sure, he does not move for days on end. Ava maybe tries to talk to him, but It does not move. Eventually, though, the four of you are to meet, whether you bring him catatonic or not. Him in the ivory tower is dangerous.
Yeah, I'm eventually going to kind of sit next to him and say, hey, we have to move.
Last
Out of
time
here.
you said that. Last time you said that. You told me everyone I cared about was dead. Or beat me to a pulp. Or showed me my worst fears.
I'm sorry. I really am, Zach. I'm genuinely sorry. I can't even begin to imagine what you've been through. I mean, I saw some of it.
What happened to Cammy? What happened to Cammy?
She found out too much about the sandwich and was punished.
What happened to Cammy?
We need to leave, Zach. Now.
What are you not telling me?
I just told you what happened. It's hard to hear about somebody you love dying. It's hard to accept. It takes time to accept these things. People dying. The people you care about most. It's painful.
Who was that British guy?
Somebody I cared about deeply.
Why do I remember his voice?
Apparently part of the ritual of bringing you back involved him.
Some two-bit necromancer?
Basically, he was a clan called Hekata. He had those abilities.
That's a clan Zach is not familiar with.
Like the Giovanni, but not.
Literally some knockoff necromancer. Why? Why do I need to move?
Because we're in the Ivory Tower. You know, this place isn't always... It's safe, but not safe.
And
If you want more candid conversations, we should head somewhere else. We have a new haven. I'll take you there.
Zeva quietly just lead the way, and kind of with those
Yep.
words. And that's almost surprising to Zach to hear her so assertive. That was not how Ava used to be, and now She speaks words that make sense, and she says it with authority. And she leads you out the front door, down the 35 floors. Her penthouse is 10 floors higher than it once was. And the ivory tower, as you leave, you realize is being enlarged, tall. You're led to a car, and you're driven south. Sorry, please.
Does anyone get me clothes?
Yes. I I would have let you sit there naked on my couch for days. No.
Yeah,
I
have
got
clothes.
you clothes. I dressed
Because
you.
like on Zach's priority list right now, clothes are pretty low, so I'm not sure he would even notice.
I think
No,
it's high on Dakota's at the very least.
Yeah.
So there's clothes that show up. And so you wear some clothes, nothing too fancy out the gate. And you're driven south, past the downtown, past Chinatown, past the Ollie's Bar, which you may be even surprised you drive by, and down into Brighton Park, where at the outside, the finishing touches of renovations are being done in this gorgeous movie theater. The car parks about a block out, and Ava leads you to it.
Can I turn my eyes off?
Yeah, they're not like pitch black. Oh yeah, you can turn them like that, like off. It's like what was once blue is just black now. You can still see the whites around your eyes, for the most part. You just dark.
I imagine we've left the outside to be kind of ragtag.
Yeah, sure. However you would have wanted to
Don't want
renovate it.
People in it. The inside probably super beautiful, but the outside looks run down.
Ollie and Dakota, after spending some time and not sure what night you're expecting the arrival of Ava, you do hear what sounds like a distant car door shut before the front door opens, and you can hear sets of footsteps walk in. Heading into the lobby, there stands a dressed Zach walking, and Ava next to him.
This is the new place. This area is our new domain. There's a lot that's happened in the year that you have been gone, and slowly acclimate you to everything that's been going on. But you're back with us. The coterie.
Well, can tell he's thrilled. So, I'm gonna keep bagging up the trash and see if I can get some woodworkers in here so they can replace the banisters.
Ollie moves over and picks up just a big black trash bag and continues kind of grabbing leftovers and piling them in. Does Dakota kind of join him, or is this weird little awkward stand?
I'm trying to figure out what his intent here is.
Mm-hmm.
Zach's just standing there right now.
Ava, maybe we could find Zach a place to sleep.
Yeah. We have some spots upstairs. Some rooms.
You'll be
Newly
glad
renovated.
to know around the corner there's a bookshop. Small.
And then I pick up a bag. Oh, whoa.
Yep. As you go to pick it up, he actually say it again though, because I don't know what you said.
Dakota.
Said your name.
Why? I'm back.
Why are you back?
I look at Ollie and I look at Ava. Like, do you want me to tell him the truth? Because, like,
You're back. Because the sandwich is looking for leverage over your sister. There seemed to be some shoddy deal that went down. Another kindred named Crowley. Well, he was sacrificed in some way for you to be here now.
Crowley.
That was his name.
Saito. Cammy. Who else?
Do
Who
you
else?
need
What?
anybody else?
That died while you were gone? Because a lot of people have died.
Your sire is also gone.
Took care of him.
Along with the Baron of Brighton Park.
Oh, that asshole.
Where do you think we're standing? We're in Brighton Park. It's renovating a bit of a new deal.
Zach, for the first time, seems to be paying attention to his surroundings.
What has gone down, Crowley? Zach. God damn it.
There is a lot. But the bottom line is, we're not really considered the loud ones anymore. We've actually made a decent name for ourselves. We are in good with the prince, and we're gaining more and more knowledge about what lies under the city. And we're actually in a really good spot.
You're in good
Having
with
you
the
back.
prince.
Yeah.
Then why did so many people we talked to die?
Because they defied the prince. That's how it's gone. Everybody who's tried to defy the prince in some capacity ends up dead.
I know that. I didn't realize everyone was as foolish as me.
Speak for yourself, Zach. We didn't get here by being foolish.
That's
We got
why
here
you're
by
still
being
alive.
survivors.
And there are some things that have been a little out of our control, wouldn't you say, Ava?
Very
So
much
we're making
so.
the best of a bad fucking situation. And I'd like to think that your return is not part of that.
What happened to Cammy?
Well, we're gonna pull off the band-aid? I'll do it.
Ali's turn.
Ava will take a few steps back. I told him about defying the prince, finding out about the sandwich.
Cammy got too close. She knew too many things. We believe she started to make a play. And then she was taken. She was then presented to your sister. Ava was forced to either die or diablerize. And she's standing here. So you can probably guess the choice she made.
All right, my turn to grab him.
Yeah, but you can immobilize him for an hour. Poor Zach.
I grab him and I'll drag him down. We have a shiny new cell I need to try out.
You were expecting it, and we can even like move to the point, and the hour passes where he finally starts to come
I imagine
to again.
it's so simple as like Zach rushes at Ava and Dakota was ready and just clotheslines him as he goes past.
Yep.
Yep, they're just like up to the neck and block the arms, and he's like struggling, but the
Take
pain
him
in
down.
the ass.
Yep.
But an hour's nothing, and eventually he kind of comes to and he snaps back.
You guys didn't let me have an hour with them.
I knew this was going to be a very painful return. It's not going to be easy to tell him all the things that happened.
Yeah, I don't exactly have a problem with it. Zach's always been real candid with me, and I can be candid back.
I agree. It's probably for the best. I don't tell him everything.
Don't worry, I've always been a real bad dad at things, so let's just follow through. I'll keep him in the cage, and anytime he asks a question and starts to have a panic attack, I'll let him know the truth, and then he can freak out. Come back out of it, and we'll do it all over again. Wash, rinse, repeat.
So as you come off of that fury frenzy, and you can finally now speak and digest the information you were just fed.
And Ollie's there.
Yeah, everybody's there now.
Everybody's there. Okay.
Yeah, but Ollie's kind of in the forefront.
Sure.
Are we down by your cell?
If you want to use the cell, it would make it so much easier. Like when he frenzies,
so that's where
hop him
Dakota
in a
would have
cell.
taken him. So
Yep, that's
the
fine.
downstairs below the stage has and we
Yep.
paid for an install cell. So
Yep. Oh, that's great. We get to see. So yeah, you take him downstairs and we get to see, what does the cell look like? Is it obviously not part of the building, or did you have kind of reconstruction to have it be part of the foundation? I'm just curious if it sticks out or not.
interesting, yeah. No, I
think we
would
talked
probably,
about it originally being like the fireproof room for the films, right? That we.
Yeah, there's always a room that used to keep the 35 millimeter.
Yep.
So and it would have had one way in, one way out.
Okay,
'cause it's
and then you
fireproof,
use that as
so,
the cell.
yeah.
You just give it a
Yeah, we
reinforced steel
new
door
floor,
and all that
yeah,
other
new
wonderful
door.
stuff. And that's where you throw him. So an hour passes, everybody gathers. You can hear he's not banging around in there anymore. And eventually, Zach, the door kind of creaks open. You can't blame him. At least they didn't punch you.
I'm sure that at this point, just in an effort to maintain it, I know that Dakota could, that likely we wouldn't see Ava. So I'll just prop up a chair against it and kind of put my weight against the door, like back to it.
Yep.
He's going to need blood. He's going to wear himself out. He's going to need food.
Okay.
I got someone you can look after or look for, but it's going to take someone with knowledge of the streets. Dakota, you want to go look for her? I mean, you can take Ava. She's constantly looking for deals, and she needs blood too. That's why she trades it for.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Where are we looking? Who is it?
Her name's Drip. That's what she goes by, Drip.
Apropos.
And she's got, I tell her like the three places that I can or have consistently found her.
Archer
Yeah.
Heights, Bridgeport, and Canaryville are the three different neighborhoods you typically
Ooh.
find her in.
We're not going into Canaryville. That's deep in our territory, so we're going to avoid
Which indicates that she's probably dealing both sides.
Yep. Anybody who's willing to deal for her, specifically at the Kindred, she carries bags. They're taped to her stomach. If you tell her that you're looking for blood, she'll find out exactly who you are. Don't worry, she's aware of the situation. She needs our blood too.
Okay.
Okay.
Zach can ask me all the hard questions. It doesn't bother me.
Thanks,
It's
Ollie.
quite fitting of the relationship that Zach and Ollie used to have. It was an old bullshit relationship between the two of them, and while that caused tension and feuds between the two of them, it was also the source of their greatest respect for one another. So Dakota and Ava will leave. The scene will stick into this building as the sounds of him calming down eventually overtake, and there's a quietness between Ollie and the door.
This is me and you now, kid.
Just you.
Yep. Your sister and Dakota went out. We're gonna go get you some food.
How fucked are we?
It's bad. It's real bad. We've been deep for a long time, but you knew that from the beginning.
I thought that my death would make things easier.
You would be surprised to find out about how much worse it made it. But it gave your sister a chance to grow up. I'm sure in the brief time that you've been back, you've seen it.
She seems more confident.
Well,
Is
she
it-
kind of didn't have a choice.
Is it well placed?
I can think of at least one time your sister's well placement not only saved my skin, but likely saved a small portion of Southside Chicago when I went on a frenzy. Because that British boy you know in your head, Crowley, he smacked my son around. You remember Rowan?
Which one?
The Rowan. the real Rowan. He smacked him around, and he didn't exactly have permission to do that. It caught me way off guard, and I frenzied. Would you believe it? First time in, I don't know, like almost 20 years. First time I frenzied. And no one could stop me, Zach, except your sister. I almost killed Dakota. And that's something that haunts me. I would have killed your sister.
You do a thing finally.
What thing? I've done a lot of things.
Where do we stand with the sandwich?
Well, we are playing the field. We are doing what we can to make sure that we are looking good. And as it stands, something's going on with your sister. She wants her. Dakota and I both recognized it right away when she said that you were brought back as a gift. She's been real nice to your sister. When any others of us here would have died, she said that she got into a yelling match with the prince. I don't know anyone that stood up to that at this point. All it takes is you looking at her the wrong way, and then suddenly you're on the chopping block. But your sister said that she got into a yelling match with her?
More confident and impulsive.
Yeah. You mean like, you?
Only impulsive when it came to people I cared about.
Hey, you got it.
And
See, the
half
wild
of them
thing
are
is,
dead.
I don't know if this is at your sister or if it's being a Toreador, but that thing that she cares about, a lot of the time is herself. A lot of her actions are fairly self-motivated, but when it comes to you, she's fucking blind. She traded a lover. She didn't know it. But Crowley, that guy was
Wait,
important
which
to her.
one? Saito?
Yeah, and Crowley. She's playing the field, like I said.
She diablerized her friend,
Uh-huh.
and she had her two lovers murdered.
Yep.
To get me back from unending torment,
Uh-huh.
so that I can die again.
Well, I mean, maybe. You're currently riding his body right now. That's got to feel a little weird.
Seems to be mine.
Hmm.
Also, I assume that the door is like a big metal, like iron steel door.
Yep.
Cool. The backs of my fists are burned.
I don't see that. I'm looking
Yeah,
away from the
but
door.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why am I burned?
Fuck, I don't know. Why would you be burned? Is it just your fists? Or does it go up any further?
All the back of my fists. When I was beating the door.
Well, you were hitting the wall pretty hard, so maybe that. Maybe. What else you got, kid? I got time.
Where's Rowan?
Rowan is, roving around Chicago. He and a few of his own little cronies, they took Crowley's daughter. I don't remember her name.
Emily?
Correct.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That was
They
what was
took-
written on the bed sheet when I woke up.
Huh. Wild. Well, they took his daughter, and sent her up uptown somewhere east, maybe even outside of the city as far as I know. But Crowley was on his way to go find her because that's exactly where Rowan went. Went with a hunter. We got a name. Layla. Yeah.
Hey, you definitely come across Layla books before. Layla the Vampire Hunter. In
Isn't that
fact.
like a young adult book thing, comic, graphic
Yeah.
novel, something?
Yeah, it was there was a comic adaptation that I read about it. There was a novel.
A comic book character who has recruited your second fake copy son, real son,
Yeah.
has also recruited Crowley's daughter.
And will likely make her a hunter too. Yeah.
Right.
My face as well. At this point, I'm gonna spin the chair around and I'm gonna open the door, but put it up against the wall.
Yep.
Pretty much parallel to the door. Figured we could look at each other face to face. Zach, I gotta know. What the fuck happened that night? We got a bunch of letters. And I don't even know if I got all the letters, but Dakota wasn't happy. Your sister wasn't happy. Everything was bad. And
I went to Vanessa. I handed her the information that she wanted. I asked her, "Oh, I would like to go in all the way and be in with the sandwich." And she said yes. And then
Okay.
she told me to rape a woman.
that seems very out of character. Is there a reason?
I'm sure she had her own reasons.
Wow, like,
So I jumped
mean-
from the 20th story of a building.
that hurt a little.
I've had worse now.
Okay. Okay, so she wanted you to have sex with a woman. But, like, you can't, the purpose of that is either to A, enjoy yourself, or B, have a baby, and I'm guessing you can't do the latter, because, you kind of did.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it would be the latter. She was important for some reason.
That would probably explain why we got caught up in that information with your sire, that, what was your sire's name again? Merrick? Malik, that guy. Yeah, he was fucking weird.
Did you get
He's
his
dead, though.
notes?
Yeah, we got a couple of them.
At some point, I want to look through them.
I'm sure.
I want to know why I fucking died the first time around.
Sure, but maybe you can help me out something now. Because we know exactly what Malik was up to.
What?
He was trying to do a thing, I think he said a vessel. He was trying to make a vessel. A perfect vessel for something. No, we've got theories. Dakota's a
Something
little better
related to
putting
the
this together.
Thin Bloods.
Yeah.
Saito had one of them.
Sure.
The other one was the one I handed to Vanessa.
Well, after you were dead, Malik was declared open game for the rest of Chicago. There was a blood hunt. He lost his utility. Zach, he was working with them for obvious reasons. Only because I think they were funding or giving him permission to do his research, but you can look through the notes and figure that out yourself.
I think they were using him, maybe. Using his
No, of course.
information.
Of course they were. But now, the prince and the sandwich. They want your sister. And they brought you back as a gift. A retainer of sorts to keep her in check. To keep her loyalty. Why would they want your sister for that?
What?
She-
Do we
she
know
looked
anything
envelope.
more about the sandwich than when I left? Because I've been dead for a year.
We have a few ideas, right? We've got a couple of ideas about where she is.
You have very good ideas to where she is, what her potential goal is.
Yeah, we've theorized what her goals are. which I'll sort of let you know that
You just let me know everything up to date with what the coterie knows.
Yeah, because there's a lot. It will be a lot. I imagine there's pretty much nonstop chatter.
Cool.
Hours would blur by.
I have an idea what Zach would think.
But as soon as, because Dakota's been in charge of all that paperwork shit, I handled finances with my business, but when it comes to that, as Magnus, Canis, and Hound, she's got to find raps for it because I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with it.
She's a big dog.
Yeah. I feel like it's been like that a while, though.
Was she a big dog before I left?
She turned big dog because she turned your head in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your death gave her that promotion.
So then,
yeah, it has been a long time because he's been dead a long time, Ollie.
no, it's probably been about that time that right around when you died, she was promoted to head hound.
But not sheriff.
But not sheriff. She wants you to want it.
Right.
Plus, she's got qualms with the sheriff. I mean, who doesn't at this point? But I digress.
Why? He doesn't even have a personality.
It has something to do with the fact that he beat her to a pulp in public. Breach of the Masquerade. And it got covered up. Oh, also, by the way, briefly met your fairy friend. The one you were meeting in Madison that I found out much later. That same person, Crowley. He stole something from her. I don't know how he did it, but he took a fucking bucket. And she came hunting for it. Viciously so. Cornered us when we were supposed to be heading off a lupine. And she took the bucket back. And she also took something from Crowley. Don't know what that is yet. But he had to lie to her face because, much like you, he was a cheeky fuck. Y'all like fairies, man. Y'all played some dangerous games.
Have you got a nail?
A nail? I mean, yeah, give me a minute. I'll walk away.
Just rip one out of a nearby banister.
Yeah, sure. Or there's we're
Be
probably
torn
renovating
down
it.
anyway.
Likely to be either renovated or what
Like
have you. And
construction stuff left
Sure,
over. Yeah.
how can
I
nail
assume
it
it's
in-
an
in
old
Adam?
nail rather than a fancy new one because it's from the banister.
Yeah, it's a rusted old nail, then part
Perfect.
that came out of a loose board that's still to be replaced. Yep. You jam it through yourself and you take a point of aggravated damage.
You just see it like start to smoke and burn around the wound. Pull it out, but drop it real quick.
All right, catch me up here. Why? Why did you do that?
Hey.
Okay. Faye. All right.
Fucking fairy tales and iron bullshit.
So
It
the
occurs
Iron
to
Nail-
Ollie at this point, after you just said what you said and him piecing something together. Perhaps the Fae took what she meant to take.
Huh. That's wild. You'll have to show your sisters that trick.
I'd rather not do that again.
Catch you up on some things politically. What have I learned in the brief time that I'm here? All right, so
I just learned a bunch about Snitch.
Snitch acquired his name for being not so great a person. We're lobbying to put Mr. Jackson as the primogen when it comes to that opportunity. I've vested my interests in Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, the Anarchs are in complete chaos.
Total
Cyto
disarray.
died.
Cretius is very well informed, rather old, and he views the visible student curricula as a buffet of things that he can put his penis in and lounge.
I know who Crucius is. He's been on the council for...
Yeah, I didn't also know that there was someone in Chicago that was that old either. What else is there? Haven't really heard much Hido here about the Malks.
And you're
The
afraid of...
Giovanni's dead.
Oh.
The Giovanni's dead. That was actually
And Saito, that explains why the annex was so fucked up.
Well, yeah. But Giovanni was killed by Rowan, actually. The labyrinth is fucking wild. It will carry your ass around.
It's at
even
this
if you
point,
sit
when
in
you're
the
like, the
chair.
labyrinth is wild, that Dakota and Abel would return with a couple of blood bags. One of you would have to give a point of hunger blood to trade. Make a decision as to who that was.
I can do that.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm also.
So you
I've
come
got-
with two
I
blood
got-
bags.
I got.
And you
I got
actually
the room.
hear echoing through the empty theater. Oh, the labyrinth is fucking wild, coming from downstairs. As you make your way down, you can hear the footsteps.
I imagine this is going well.
Yeah, hey, I was just telling him about the labyrinth and Snitch and catching up. I don't know if you've ever seen a lupine, Zach, but they're real fucking spooky, especially when you don't think 16 chains is going to be enough to hold them to a wall.
Oh yeah, and we have an old kindred who we found that was dead.
Oh, yeah.
Where is that
Arnie.
guy?
Arnie.
Is he at your bar?
Arnie's kind of up and about, but yeah, he's mostly sticking around at the bar. Arnie Samuelson. I'm still waiting to hear back from Snitch. I put that rat out a month ago. But I don't know. I don't know what else there is. You know, we're all in it deep, man. We're all just trying to get by. Everything's coming at us a day at a time.
When the whole thing with the thin blood and me, and then with the thin blood that Saito was looking after, and then with Malik, I think they were trying to create a vessel, and then Sybil was going to fill that vessel.
With what? Oh yeah, there's another person in town as well. Vitel. That's he seems pretty important, at least from what I've gathered. He worked pretty closely in the politics of DC, and now he's here. That's about all I got. And from what your sister said, he's not natural, not normal. I don't know. All I know is that when he walked by me, I heard his ass breathe, and I know that we as kindred don't do that unless we force it to happen.
Crowley also told you that he looks like just nothingness, like a complete hole in the universe.
I don't even know how to explain that. He was a walking blank book. There was nothing there. I would say he was Blank Man, but I don't think you'll get that. It's a bit of an outdated reference.
A hole into the abyss. Something.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
whatever.
And it comes from DC.
Isn't that a mess?
Not from what we were understanding.
The thing that they would know that Zach would get informed of is like DC was so stable that when they lost their prince, whoever it was, and they know it to be Vitel, that whatever he put in place kept DC stable even after he was gone.
Isn't that like fine?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Now he's here.
And trying to make things fine.
Fine here.
I
Hey, was there any-
I destroyed Sybil's vessel.
Sorry if I am kind of going back and forth, but that'll run up with the Baron. We finally decided to bring it to his doorstep because they almost killed Grant. Grant's been laid up in a hospital for over a month.
True.
He was shot twice in the chest. And I need to go check on him. Was there any money left over at all from anything we got? Because, I got to figure out a way to get that doctor paid back. She didn't exactly give me a list of necessities, but I know money speaks leaps and bounds to the kind world.
Well, I was gonna hawk the car, but I gave it to Ava.
You can use.
Car still has golden bars sitting at the fucking bottom of it.
Wait, his van does?
I shifted most of them out, but there'd be some.
There's still some down there.
Could you give us like an idea on that, like for like coterie resources, so that we can?
We're gonna have a transfer of experience over. So, but for
Okay.
right now, if you want, like at hand, we'll just say superfluously, you have like 2 dots of resources in gold and available.
All right.
Paid the doctor off. I requested his medical records be cleared already, or at least can, with the detective, and should be easy.
Well, he's not in an actual hospital, so you're good.
Oh, he's not at a proper hospital.
No, he's like in an underground hospital with an actual doctor who's keeping him
Even
off the
better.
books.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, then I'll take a couple of those gold bars and smash them down, at least to remove the Nazi symbol, or find someone that can move them, make them a bit more liquid for me.
Easy enough. We'll say you able to kind of meld it down and have like enough of just like a meaningless looking gold to kind of hand to her.
Yeah.
We'll say they remain bars. You just melt off the symbol as best you can. Though the G never goes away. No matter how hard you try and melt away the G stays. But the eagle and whatnot all dissipates.
It's fine.
And you'll have it. You'll leave, make your way to that hospital, with Dakota and Ava staying back with Zach. And the walk there is quiet, peaceful. Eventually, the small crowd of people that sits outside the building that was there last time see you coming, and the same gentleman from before, who's now shirtless with ripped jeans, pops himself off of the stoop of stairs, kind of takes a jog up to you before you get too close. Unless you approach quietly, but I remember you approached visibly last time because they know you here.
They know me.
Yeah, so he runs up and approaches you before you get too close. Gives you a nod. Yeah, he's doing much better. She's
Good.
expecting you any night, so top floor. No
Hey,
weapons.
how close do you work with a doc?
Oh, he kind of shakes his head. I just clear the people who walk in and out.
All right.
No
All right.
weapons. And he holds out his hand expectantly.
Go ahead.
All right. If you say so. My boy's gonna patch you down, though. You good with that?
As long as he's okay with knowing that I got bars on me.
Yeah, kind of just nods and shakes his head. Sure, whatever, as long as they ain't a weapon. And they walk over, and a couple guys just start patting you down thoroughly. After they kind of clear you, you're sent on the inside. You make your way up to the 3rd floor, and sitting up, still in bed, but nursing what looks to be some cream of wheat or oatmeal, taking bites, is Grant. He doesn't notice you right away, and the doctor actually catches you before you actually take more than 2 steps past the door frame, and she hurries over. Hey, Mr. Hopkins, good to see you.
Hey, Doc.
He's did well. Healed up rather quick. I was surprised how well he took that. Most people... And she just kind of gives you a knowing look.
Yeah. Well, I've been waiting on that list. You never got me anything. I don't know what you need.
She snaps, and I'll have it for you before you leave.
Well, I've come bearing something that might help. And if you don't know of a way to bring it down to a bit more of a liquid form, then I can do it myself and bring you back. But I'm going to show her the gold bar.
Her eyes definitely brighten up, but it's not the first time she's seen payment in this fashion before. The people who she deals with, she kind of can get it out. She gets it where she can.
Right.
She thinks for a minute. Yeah, I think I know a few people that I could take that to, and that would go a long, long way.
Yeah, well, you get 2 of them. Doc, we're probably going to need help in the future.
Dirty?
We'll see.
And the money. Anybody can be able to track it here.
Anything else that you might need? I want to keep our
Supplies.
relationship going here.
Yeah, and she thinks for a minute, and while she takes the money from you and puts it in a small tin box and scurries it away from anybody from seeing it, she does come back over with like a yellow pad and a pen, and she kind of clicks it open and she starts scurrying, writing things down. Okay. After a few things, she rips it, throws it on a nearby desk, and kind of just pushes it in your hand. Basic supplies, rubbing alcohol, bandages, suture kits, whatever you can get your hands on, we could use here. People are always coming in and out, and there's never a slow night out here. Chicago.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Hey, you mind giving me a minute with Grant? It won't be long.
Yeah, take your time. He's clear to go whenever he's feeling ready. So I would prefer the bed be cleared by tomorrow if possible. And she claps you on the back and just heads over to deal with another patient that's unconscious somewhere else. Grant, now you look over, you realize Grant is looking at you and he's watching. He gives you kind of a nod.
Kind of grin.
Hey, boss.
And how you feeling?
Good. Better.
I mean,
everything
aside from the fact
goes.
that you've been shot in the chest twice.
Yeah, I remember.
Everything we took care of him. All right. The guy that did this to you is he's gone.
Good. Bastard had it coming.
I mean, you've been laid up in here for a month, and I'm not going to tell you what you need to do, but the doc does need the bed. And I know that with the months coming to an end, I know that that kick's probably coming back and you got the itch.
Yeah.
But I can't force you to take it if you don't want it.
No, no question. I
Kind of like look up. Can I like pull a curtain or anything? Or
yeah, there's like a shower curtain that's
Sure.
kind of screwed to the top of the ceiling and can pull it. And you do. And you feed him his blood, and the energy and color kind of restores to his skin, and there's a bit more pep to the way he speaks. He shakes his head afterward and sighs a sigh of relief and sits up a little straighter. I'm ready to get back on the job.
You know, if you decide, I know you are. And if you decide that this is just a bit much for you, you can cut and run, Grant. You are not beholden to me.
There's no cutting and running, boss. I just need to know what I gotta do to
Better?
go
Be
all
stronger.
in.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm working on that. It's a lot harder of a thing. If I'm thinking about what you're saying about all in, it's a lot harder of a thing to acquire.
Yeah, it's also hard taking a couple bullets to the chest and not knowing if you're gonna live. And I've seen you shake those things off like it's snowflakes.
Yeah, you've also seen my face though, right?
Yeah.
You know what it's like to pick someone up off the ground with just your teeth and suck all of the blood out of their body so that all that's there is a husk. And then when you open your eyes again, it's someone that you love and adored. Because that's
Yeah.
what it can really be like.
I'd still rather risk that than dying.
Hey man, I get that. I get that. Let me continue working on that. I gotta keep earning favor. But
Yeah.
for now, I need to know that you're good, that you're okay.
I'm good. A little shaken still, not gonna lie, but you know, I'm good.
Hey, how do you feel about classing it up a little bit? You want to get out of the bar?
Oh, are you selling the business? I've been gone that long.
Nah, no,
about
it's not like
Haley?
that. Haley's good for business. She always has been, but I just had a wild idea about giving you a proper opportunity to move outside of regular clientele and get you into something a little better, but you're gonna have to dress up for it.
Well, you've piqued my interest, boss.
Well,
But let me get out of here first.
yeah,
Kind of stretch my legs and shit, and I'll be at the bar
Yeah.
in the next couple nights.
sure. I gotta run. I'm gonna put something into motion because the bar's nice, but this could be a really good thing for all of us.
All right. Clearly, your own excitement's rubbing off on him. He's more curious, but he lets it go. And what do we see Ollie do?
Ollie's gonna find his way quickly to a manhole and make his way back to the theater as fast as he can. He's got this like seed in his head that Dakota has planted, like, what do you want to do, Ollie? What do you want to do? And he's trying to find something that connect him to the theater, because right now there is nothing that he wants to do at the theater other than make sure it is a place for the three of them to be happy and for them to be safe, at least in a place that is comfortable for them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to find a way to mix that world, and he
Yeah.
just came up with the idea. It just hit him.
I'm
Because it just
excited.
hit me as well.
And so you're gonna head back to the theater?
Yeah.
It doesn't take you too long. Again, they've been all probably talking and filling him in on other details that Zach needs to know that kind of come
Dakota
with that
looks
package.
bored. She's been talking too long. Bored. She looks so bored.
But it's necessary, filling Zach
It
in on
is. It
things.
is. And she knows it.
And Ollie comes marching back after about an hour or two.
Hey guys.
How's Grant doing?
He'll be good. He'll be good in a couple of days. He'll at least be out of that hospital bed tomorrow, as far as I can tell. But he's eager to get back to work. I had an idea, thanks to Dakota, actually. Dakota, when I asked you the other night when we walked, what do we do from here? What do I do? He told me that it's been nice. You know, it finally feels like to get a win. I mean, I know it doesn't feel like that to all of us, but I don't really want this place. I don't want it. It's not mine. When I originally fought for this, Dakota, it was for you and it was for Ava. You two needed a place. Some place that you could call your own. More than the yacht. And more than the ivory tower. You needed a home. Something that was for you. And you keep saying that it's for us, but I don't feel connected to it. And I want to. So I had an idea, and I want to spitball it, see where you guys land on this. I don't want to bring the bar over, but I want to bring a part of my world over. Now it's gonna need some love, because it's not my area of expertise. I'm more of a kitchen rat than anything else. But I remember being a kid, and my dad, my adoptive dad, he took me to what he called a tasting room. And it was attached to an old theater called the Tivoli. And in the Tivoli, you could go watch old 35mm film. But you could also get wine. And you could get imported beers and lagers and stuff like that. But that was me, right? That was my life growing up. Now, Haley needs something that's stable, because I know that she's still getting fucked with by the political guy. And Grant needs out of the hood. I can fix the hood. I can't fix their world. But I can blend it with yours. Can we make that? Can we try to make like a small side tasting room to attach to the theater?
Ollie, more and more, each day I get to know you, I am more and more impressed by your ideas. That sounds like the most splendid of ideas. A tasting room next to a theater. It sounds so exquisite. Sounds lavish. I'm in. I love it. And you know, Grant and Haley would do a great job there. They're honestly very charming. I think that it would work so well.
Well, I know that part of this idea came from just being around Dakota, having a good influence, you know? I know that you said that you didn't have like the easiest or best of time growing up. You had a rough time. And one of the few memories that I had with my dad, my adoptive dad, that I really loved outside of comics, was that tasting room and getting cheesecake. I don't know if you ever had a lot of cheesecake, but I think this is a good chance. You could try it. I mean, even if it means we gotta go warm for a while. Cheesecake is one of the few reasons that living was great. I still stand by that.
Can we add cheesecake to this tasting room? Just wine.
Hell yes, I'm so for it.
This is amazing.
Yeah, Dakota kind of smiles. She says, I don't know what any of that is. But if it means that you'll call this home with us, I'll do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm for that. I'm sorry I got a little excited. I thought it was a good idea.
This excites me too, Ollie. When you are passionate about something, it gives me life. I love this. Every time Ollie gets into his that one episode where you were talking about it was the bourbon or that, and you just got into such detail. Ava was just like
she was like, "Oh, I understand. I can connect with the Nosferatu."
I can relate. I love it every time Ollie does this. I love it. Good. We should build something maybe connecting to the theater to give people kind of a space for that, and then a space for this more. For the theater, really.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
What about the bar itself, though? Who would be running that? Will we franchise? Are you gonna expand the business to here?
A lot of even modern day stuff, like theaters have just this little area. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Just adding a little area with 5 tables that each have 2 chairs, a bar, and just a place where patrons would come and have a sip before a movie and whatnot.
Or
Yeah, it's
even
not like
over,
a huge like
Sure.
like ballroom.
Right.
Right.
You're
I think-
talking and we can't hear you. E.
We were going to just have the cinema closed, right? We weren't going to open it up. Was the original idea we talked about.
For now,
Was.
but it could be an opportunity. I mean, for
And we could do like limited.
no, it's
like,
probably
doesn't-
like Ollie's mindset. If that gets brought up, it's like if we start looking good on paper. I mean, that's why I've got Grant's brother. He does the books for the pub, so that looks really good to the Ventru. And since we're kind of butted up against them anyway, we may as well try to rub elbows. Keep looking real good. Can't hurt.
It'll take negotiation, planning, building, and renovation still, and you have to find the right people, of course. But it's a possibility.
I
At
don't
least
know
it's an
anything
idea.
about
It's an idea. I just want to see
business,
what would land.
but it could be a good cover.
Yeah. And it could just be for a lot of these places are not always open every night a week. We could just open it to Fridays, Saturdays, and the rest of the week it's ours.
Business front. I mean, Cretius does have his haven in the middle of a university. Ideas. Let them percolate. From there, though, I think. Oh, please, Dakota, take it away.
No, I was just gonna say, we were supposed to keep a promise.
We were.
Crowley left us something. So I thought, if everybody's not too busy frenzying, and we could maybe, I don't know, watch a movie together.
Yeah.
I think that
Have
might
you
be
all?
nice.
Y'all haven't seen this, have you?
Now that they're
only-
speaking of it and they're kind of gesturing, Zach, you're not quite sure what they're talking about, but just looking over the shoulder and stacked up on a nearby table, you can see the 35 millimeter reels just stacked, and there's a piece of tape with handwritten on marker that just says Star Wars.
It's one of the greatest pieces of cinematic experience.
I've never seen
what
it
a
in
critical
this
resolve roll.
experience.
It's resolve plus composure. Willpower roll.
Ah, gotcha.
Well,
You got the original trilogy of Star Wars on 35 millimeter.
Seems that
Yeah.
way.
How did you do that?
Nazi money.
But I don't even know what it is, and I've only ever been to the movies twice. So
Well, it might take me a minute, but I know how to roll the reel. I've only ever had to do it like 4 times. And I did it for my original dad. So let's give it a shot. Let's go for it.
A sudden burst of energy
Actually-
through Ollie, and he picks up the reels and starts making his way over. There's actually a little old-timey popcorn maker you got put in here that you got able to kind of get going. And while you're not mortal, you can still enjoy the smell, some of you, if you can, rouse the blood and become human just for a little longer. And as the lights go out and hours pass, you can hear the popping of the popcorn. That sweet, buttery smell fills the lobby. And the 4 of you take your favorite seats in the theater next to each other, scattered. I don't know how it would be. The lights will eventually go down, and you can hear the kicking up of the old reel in the back as the flickering image lines itself up on the theater. And as always, oh, there's a finger. I see a finger.
As the intro screen starts to crawl up the screen,
Yeah, we see the letters crawl up in the loud blare of music.
I'm gonna lean over to Ava and just whisper in her ear. The sandwich wants to choose you as the new body.
And as that last bit of info slips through his lips and the music swells and Ava maybe takes that in and all that excitement kind of gets wrestled down for a minute, we'll pull back the sounds of the movie theater swelling over, and we will end the episode here with the coterie having a night of enjoyment.
Sorry, I ruined Star Wars for you.
Sort of. You ruined it, Zach. it!
Hey, Zach's back, everybody.
Brother! Ava throws popcorn at you.
Hey, you killed my love interest. Sucks to be you. Okay, cool. In which case, right, we're gonna go through a few things. Reminder for our announcements. We have a few of them. Gonna pull them up now.
Sorry, I just now have that
it's
second
in my head too,
bum.
don't worry.
The sandwich wants to eat your soul, destroy your face. You're a puppet. Right, okay. Monthly recap is now out on Patreon for those of you here at tier and above. Lots of behind-the-scenes goodies for the Battle of Mandora coming soon. It is September. You can get subs for the first time for a cheaper price or multi-sub deals for cheaps. Also, last chance to climb your Legend tier this month for next month's Legends games. Also, there is a sponsored one-shot tomorrow at a slightly earlier time in addition to our normal episodes. Death Becomes You, which is a good Strong Hands game, which is a new game from Craig, and he'll be GMing, which he's doing a Kickstarter for. So please check that out. That'll be at 2:30 p.m. BST, 6:30 a.m. PDT. So if you do want to check that out, feel free. Also, the Ascension After Show and MP3 are now out. So if you want to go check out the Ascension After Show and the MP3 from the show we did on Thursday, you can do so. Right, with that said and done, let's start off with Dakota Rain. What about you? Who are you? What'd you do? Where can we find you?
Hi, friends. I'm Little Red Dot. You can find me online. I produce things. I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm a podcaster now, kind of. Go find me in all the places. That's what I do. I roll dice and I tell stories, gang.
Okay, Oliver Hopkins. Bob, what about you?
Oh man, I'm Bob, doing Bob things all over the internet. Mostly. Yeah, that's really about it. Come find me over at twitch.tv/thebubberknot. I'm also on Twitter and a few other places doing things. Lots of role playing, lots of storytelling. You guys know how it is. Just come find me.
Ava. Miss Magitech. Tracy, what about you?
Hi, I'm Miss Magitech. Same as everybody, I'm all over the internet doing roleplay things, so feel free to follow me on the Twitters or the Twitches to learn more about it. And yeah, and then I'm also here every Saturday, ruining lives of everybody around me.
And bringing lives back.
And bringing people back together.
Exactly.
Killing people and bringing them back together.
And of course, the one who's always shrouded in darkness, Mathis. What about you?
I'm Mathis. You can find me at Mathis pretty much everywhere. Podcasting, Illuminati, on Twitch, at YouTube. Just type my name. You will find me. I am doing a million things at any given hour. And that's it for me, which leaves us with Crackery.
Really? Crackery?
Crackery, yeah.
Okay, hi. Yeah, twitch.tv/Enterelysium, youtube.com/Enterelysium. There are things, stuff. There you go. Okay, right. I'm gonna go check if there are any tips for today. Which obviously has to reload.
I mean, you
it
could
takes
go
time.
Zrowly, but Zrowly's lame.
I was just gonna go simple and be like crack.
Just say it.
Crack?
Yeah.
Just crack.
Because otherwise, with Crackerly,
That sounds
you've
like
got
a ship name.
You've got Crowley at the beginning and Crowley at the end, and it has to be like half and half, you know.
Crowley's the sandwich now. He holds the meat that is Zach.
Hey, look, the face said she was going to take something.
Yep.
There is no crack anymore. No tips today, so we are good. We're going to do an after show. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, check out Death Becomes You tomorrow. And of course, we do have the last ditch as per usual, where I believe things have happened. So, until next week when we'll be back, may the dice roll over in your favor. And be careful of deals you make with sandwiches and with fairies. General rule of thumb.